What up, y'all, and welcome to the third episode of the Fuck Hollywood podcast, hosted by yours truly, Daddy. And yes, that is my birth name. My father calls me Daddy, okay? I'm the CEO and founder of Fuck Hollywood Productions, an independent mini studio based out in Brooklyn, New York. I hope y'all enjoyed the last two episodes we've put out so far, and if you haven't, go check them out. We got a dope episode with Niles Abston, who's one of the producers on my film, A Nightmare on Malcolm X Boulevard, which is the first FHP feature film, starring Alana Glazer, Marie Faustin, and me with a bunch of dope other people, including Niles too. And check out our other episode with Nina Lee, who's a filmmaker whose viral tweet has been going all over the internet, talking about how studios are basically holding her film in limbo, hostage in a sense, as they awaited to see how Halle Bailey's new movie, You, Me, and Tuscany, was gonna do in the box office, because they want to see how another black rom-com does in order to decide how they're gonna move forward with every other black rom-com, even though that other black rom-com is not written by a black person. But that's a whole other story. Well, I don't know if it's not written by a black person, but it's not directed by a black person. But that's a whole other story. There's still black producers. Shout out Will Packer. But anyways, tune into the conversation with Nina Lee and Niles Abston. You'll learn a whole bunch about how to finance your own projects, how to build an audience around your own projects, and how to greenlight yourself, and how to get the conversation going around your movie and build your own leverage. So go tune into those. We drop our episodes weekly. If you want to get early access, go to our FHP Patreon, which is linked below in the description. And you can get the episodes every Monday before everybody else gets them on Fridays on YouTube. So check it out. But let's dive into today's episode, which stars William Eric Anderson, who is the director of the documentary, The Alabama Brawl. And yes, it is a documentary about the Alabama River Boat Brawl. Come on now, we already got documentaries about the Alabama Boat Brawl. See, that's what happens in the independent space. You will never get this from a studio. Ain't gonna make no documentary about black people beating white people over the heads with folding chairs, but an independent black filmmaker will. I discovered William Eric Anderson recently because I saw one of his posts that was talking about how his film, The Alabama Brawl, was getting blocked on some platforms, and it was basically getting censored, and they were blocking it from being distributed. And he was getting the word out, building support, got it back onto the platforms, got it on Tubi, it's spreading around, and his audience has just been growing and growing and growing. He's just recently hit 30,000 followers, and he's awesome. He's awesome. He talks a lot about the journey with the Alabama Brawl in this episode, as well as how to make money off of your independent projects, because his debut feature film, Lanier, which deals with the history of Lake Lanier in Georgia, and if you know about Lake Lanier, you know about that complicated and sad, dark history, and how it affects black people. But yeah, he made a feature film called Lanier. That was his first feature film, and he is already up $700,000 in profits off of that film, which he self-distributed. So without further ado, let's dive into episode 3 of the Fuck Hollywood podcast with William Eric Anderson.
Yeah, I checked out what you're doing. I love it, bro. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. Wait, was it just the algorithm just stumbled upon it?
Yeah, I actually knew of you before, like, you saw Alabama Brawl, or like you wanted, I think you commented $1 or whatever. Like, I already knew of you.
Got you. Oh shit, okay, small world. Yeah, no, I think I literally just stumbled upon one of your videos like a while before I, wrote anything, and I was just like, this is amazing, this is insane, this is sick. So seriously, no, it was dope. And also just like seeing you just calling out what was going on with like the censorship. Yeah, where they were like basically, blocking, suppressing you. That was nuts. Wait, okay, so we'll just start. Okay. What? Give me the story from where this started, and then to how we get to the Tubi situation. How did this project start for you, basically?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to tell the story of Alabama Brawl like very early on. Like I didn't know I wanted to tell it in like 2023, but I knew once I like researched about the Montgomery riverfront, and I already knew the history of Montgomery. Like we already know the history is crazy. But when I learned about the riverfront where the brawl happened, I was like, okay, so this is like deeper than a viral fight. So then that's when I was like, I got to tell this story because people they probably don't even know that this fight took place in the backyard of like a large slave hub trade right behind them. And I was like, that's the irony in that is wild. So that's when I knew, honestly.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. And so, are you from Alabama? What's your backstory?
So I'm originally from like Kentucky. So
Gotcha.
I grew up there, and then I moved to Georgia when I was 13. But I do have some family in Alabama. But mainly everybody's in Kentucky. So I've always been in the South.
Yeah. And had you ever like done a documentary or did you have any experience with film, or were you just like, I see this, I gotta go tell the story, I'm gonna figure it out?
Yeah, no, I had experience. Like my first feature film called Lanier, that's on Amazon. So that kind of gave me like my first real lesson of film. And that was like a larger scale as to where like we had to figure out how to invest in it. Like we went into debt to make that film and everything, like because the investors were very like we got stood up so many times.
Tell me about it. I know all about
bro,
that.
I know you know. So like you know how it is when you're raising for a film. Like I don't know. People are like, yeah, I'm down for it. And then when it comes actually time to send the money or to sign their name, they're like, never mind. Like, you know. So
feet start dragging.
Yeah, they start dragging. And like before we did Lanier, we made a poster. That was kind of like my idea as to how to get in, because I thought it was a good idea. But I was like, okay, let's like actually see would anyone want to watch it. So we made a poster and it went viral. And that's when I was like, okay, we got to like commit now, because there's actually people that want to see this story.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy. So I mean, basically, so see, you basically you're hitting on, I think, a lot of what I am trying to hit on. I feel like a lot of people in the independent space are doing, where it's like, all right, I'm gonna go build the demand, or even just seeing, is there a demand for this, and then okay, people fuck with this. All right, I'm gonna go do this. Yeah, y'all want this, as opposed to I feel like the traditional, like, all right, let me go get the money, let me go do the thing, and then make it, and then try to find an audience. Which for me, I'm like, that's outdated and backwards. You can do both at the same time. You can make the movie and build the audience, or even just see if there's an audience first. So the fact that you did the right thing. Just tell people, I want to do this. Y'all want it?
Exactly. You gotta kind of like let the people decide, at least when you're doing it independently, because we don't have like millions of dollars to just say, okay, if it flops, it flops. So like we got more in the chamber. You know what I'm saying? It's more so like we gotta find the audience with a conceptual, but also we're in it. Like we want to tell the story, but now we're just hoping like, okay, there's an audience that says like, oh heck yeah, I would pay to watch that. Like you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what it's about, because even Ryan Coogler, like when we think about it, it took him 13 years to make something original. And that's Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's when you put it that way, it's like that's a reality check for I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people just look at what he's doing now and it's like, oh yeah, okay, he's okay, I can go make original movies, but it's like he had to make billions of dollars for studios in order to be given that opportunity. So
bro,
that's
what I'm saying. And that's Ryan Coogler, bro. Like that's when I was like, oh okay, like I just can't, because I wanted to do that at first and then it just wasn't getting traction. And then I was like, I don't know, that recently dawned upon me. I was like, damn, like Ryan really had to make a $2 billion movie just to get 25% of his movie, or he gets the full ownership after 25 years.
After 25 years.
That's deep, bro. That's what I was like, man, like, yeah.
And the crazy thing is people still think it's crazy of him to even get that ownership after all that he's done. So the fact that the industry standard is like, that's not even the industry standard for like the fact that he did all that to now earn the right to gain his ownership back. For a lot of people in the industry, that's crazy. So it's like, at what point has an artist done enough to prove that they deserve to own anything or to do what they want to do? Basically, never.
Never, basically, because come on, bro. How many Ryan Cooglers are there? There's only one that have done the feat that he's done in having a Best Picture nominee in a Marvel movie. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think outside of the Avengers, he's made the most money for a Marvel film.
Yeah. Literally, Black Panther was like, that was the I mean, that was like the Marvel movie that made the most money outside of the Avengers, outside of like the whole MCU thing. I mean, it was part of the MCU, but like it was its own standalone project and venture at first. So the fact that a black movie, which black movies don't sell, outperformed the entire Marvel. That's crazy. No, and so I mean, that's where I'm on the same page as you, where it's like, it's never gonna be enough. It's never gonna be enough. You're constantly gonna have to prove yourself to the industry, which is why, you got to just do the thing yourself, do it your way. Because I remember, like, for me, when I was doing, when I was trying to do my film Super Nigga the traditional route, that was my issue, where it was like, okay, I want to act in it, I want to write it, I want to direct it, and I want to make the music with my brother. And I was like, I know that's a lot to ask for, but at the same time, I know I can do it. I've made the short already. I've done the proof of concept. I've directed other stuff. And I'm showing all these people, you're showing studios like, look, just trust me. People are going to love this. And they're so afraid to take a risk. And then at the same time, it's like, I'm also building my name, building my audience, and showing like, there's people around the world that want to see me in this movie, but still it's a risk, until I was like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm just going to make the short, put it out, and then go just build the demand for the feature myself. And that has been working, where it's like, okay, like literally, I remember, I think yesterday I was on set, and like, and I'm in New York, and there was two dudes who were visiting from Philly who were on the shoot as well. And when I walked in, they were like one of my friends said my name, and then she was like, no, that's his name. That's his legal name, Daddy. I'm not just calling a random man Daddy. And then and they were like, oh, that's the dude who made Super Nigga. And then they were like, man, we've been watching it from Philly and this and that. And I was like, that's crazy. That like, like, okay, got to y'all. I remember another friend who was in London. He was on set, and he was like, oh, the two photographers on this shoot have been talking about your film, and they don't even know that I know you. And I was like, that's crazy. That's just from me putting a thing out on YouTube and telling people, hey, I want to do this. And now a demand is growing like around the world. And it goes back to even like what you're doing with the documentary, where like, I mean, wait, you guys hit what, 30,000 followers, was it? Or
like, 30,000 followers.
Literally off of just sharing something. Just tell, like, because if you would have gone the traditional route and like talked to investors or like try to pitch it to a studio or a network, you'd probably have to wait, and they'd be like, I don't know if there's demand. I don't know. And I don't know. But like the fact that you're just like, hey, this exists. This is it. Like that for me is the future. And I think creatives just have to keep, I'm like, we just got to keep making stuff and putting it out and like build and build and build. The budgets will get bigger, the scale will get bigger, but we have to start, because I'm like, it's not fun to sit around waiting for millions of dollars for like years and years and years, when you can just go, like, like, I mean, I respect what you're doing, but basically, I think,
man, I respect what you're doing, and your marketability is really good too. I just want to say that too. Already having a film called Super Nigga, I'm like, bro, the marketing is, because you already got to lock in. You like, that film is called what?
Yeah.
Like I gotta at least see why he would name it that. So it's
like,
really
whether you like it or not, you're gonna stop.
Yeah, you gotta stop.
Same with the Alabama Brawl. It's like, you see that, and before I even know anything, I'm like,
like literally when I saw the first video, I was like, somebody made a documentary about the Alabama brawl.
Right.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, and also the fact that it's on Tubi. Yeah, that's I'm like that's actually sick, and I'm glad that you fought for it to be able to stay on Tubi, because I feel like Tubi is a space that it has its criticisms and it's got its lovers. Like there's people who really ride and die for Tubi who are like, that's all I watch.
Yeah.
And then there's people who, and even within that, there's different groups, there's different types of viewers. And then on the other end, there's people who are like, man, fuck Tubi, it's just terrible movies and like just low quality stuff. And I'm like, all sides are kind of right, but I think at the end of the day, the fact that Tubi is associated a lot, like on the internet especially, it's associated with like Black people and a certain kind of filmmaking. I'm like, well, it's dope to see this project on there where it's like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of different types of Black shit. There's like, you got your ignorant shit, you got your educated shit, you got like this shit arranged, you know, and you're making money off of it. You're able to make money off of that too, as opposed to sitting around waiting for a distributor to put it out and stuff. So I mean, how did you even like, did you think about like the way that you were going to release it before you made it? Or were you just like, I'm just going to make it and I'll figure everything out after?
I mean, honestly, because Lanier was profitable and it was a lot more money in it, I thought, oh, okay, I'm making a good relationship with Amazon. They emailed us about the film. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, it seems like I can just do whatever. No, I cannot just do whatever when it comes to that's what I thought, honestly. I was like, okay, cool. We got a good relationship. So I was like, Alabama Brawl is going to go on Amazon, like for certain. I had nothing else came to my mind, honestly. And then when I submitted it, they were like, yeah, no. And then I was like, okay, why? And they were like, well, we can't tell you why we would license a piece of content or why we wouldn't. So I was like, okay, so y'all going to give me a corporate bullshit answer? Like, what does that even mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I started to dial it back and I was like, oh, okay. Is it because like it's Black people standing on business or being unified? Because if this was a slave movie, how would you feel about that? Would there be, oh, this is too violent, etc. So then from there, I have an aggregator to Tubi, because I don't have a direct connect to Tubi, so I have to go through a middle woman to get on Tubi. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to put it on Tubi, but then also I'm going to just sell it on a website, which I recommend all independent filmmakers to do. Like, I recommend we always try to get the direct dollar, because Tubi takes like the whole process takes about 6 months to even see any money from Tubi, because it takes a while to upload on there, and then it takes a while to actually get your first like quarterly payment. So that's why I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to put it on a website as well, and then just charge like $1, like if people want to rent it or own it or whatever. So yeah, that plan came later though. The plan A was always Amazon, to be honest.
Damn. Well, hey, good thing they it's funny, like yeah, I like because I'm like, at the end of the day, it's like you know, it's like when I tell people, I'm like, at the time when because I almost made Super Nigga with A24 originally, and but I would have had to, originally, like they wanted to make the movie like because I made the short film in 2021. Like the end of 2021 is when we made the short film, and then we just released it last year, but it's been sitting for like 5 years. And or like not just, it's been sitting on a hard drive, but it's been like circulating around in the industry. Like we almost made it with A24 twice. The first time it got to them, they really loved it and they were obsessed. They were like, oh, we want to make it, blah blah. And like we were talking for a while. We were at the point where we were gonna like start this, like breaking down a deal. But the final thing that switched everything was at the last minute. They were basically saying, if I want to make the movie with them, we need a bigger name to play the Super Nigga character, to play the role that I wrote for myself. And they wanted Jonathan Majors to play the role. And
I remember I said no because I was like, at the time, especially, I was like, I love Jonathan Majors, he's a great actor and everything, but like, not necessarily what I'm looking for. I think for anyone who sees the film and you see like the way the super nigga is portrayed and everything, it's like it's not supposed to be like if it's Jonathan Majors, that's a whole different movie. Big ass Jonathan Majors walks into an office like, I'm not a superhero. You know that's a superhero. I was like, it's got to be someone that it's comedic. Like there's no way this guy could be the superhero, or like has to be able to blend into society and stuff like that. And also, I was like, need someone that's more of a comedian than Jonathan Majors. So I said no, and everyone thought I was crazy. I remember like I always tell the story, but I'm like, there was a girl who I was talking to at the time, and she was like, I'm gonna save your number in my phone as nigga who hates money, because how are you gonna turn down A24? And I walked away from it. And then like a few weeks later, that was when Jonathan Majors like case started coming out, and like the video and like him and like the phone call and shit, like all the shit around him and his partner. And I was like, wow, okay, good thing I said no, because literally every movie that he was involved with got shelved. Magazine Dreams is like the only thing that I think actually came out, and even that the release kind of got like butchered because of everything that happened. So in hindsight, I'm like, wow, we dodged a bullet. Like Super Nigga would have been done, you know, and like, yeah, you know. So it was that, and then and I'm like, yeah, that led to, and then we like almost did it with them again, but then they wanted it to be like a way bigger budget. Like they were like, it's gotta be, we thought it was gonna be like I guess they thought it was gonna be like a $50 million movie. And the first time we were talking, they were like, okay, can you write it for like 10 to 20 million? And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do that. I came back to them the second time with a $20 million version. I guess now they wanted a $50 million version. So it's like the goalpost is constantly getting moved and moved and moved. And but all that, like, you know, it was frustrating at the time. But then that's what also led me down this path of like, oh, I can just make the things I want to make myself. I can like use the internet. I can build an audience. I can attract talent. I can try like, you know, I can make Fuck Hollywood productions and stuff. So, you know, these rejections, like your Amazon rejection, my A24 rejection led us to, you know, learning, just doing things on our own and like actually benefiting in ways that you wouldn't have benefited with them, you know? Like for me, I'm like the fact that you know, how I discovered you was you saying the film's getting censored, it's getting blocked, it's not getting supported. And then it's like, oh shit, this exists, I want to support this. And I think it makes now the audience more invested. There's an actual relationship versus Amazon just put it out and then you say, hey, go watch my movie on Amazon, you know?
Yeah, it feels more realer too, I feel like because everyone kind of has that with billion-dollar companies in some capacity, where it's like either you experience bad customer service or they did you wrong, like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the relatability is also very good. So sometimes I'm like, yeah, y'all go ahead and say no. Y'all about to give us a story if y'all say no. That's exactly how I feel. So I'm like, go ahead and say no. Like, and I'll put it out there for people to know, because at the end of the day, it don't even matter, because it's like, you know what I'm saying? If y'all want to work with me at some point, you'll work with me at some point, right?
I think
it's not even like slandering your name. It's just like they said no. That's it. Like, you
that
know
is so real. I feel like when I remember, because for me, before I said anything about like the experience that I had with A24, with like Hollywood or anything, I think a lot of people, when I would say I'm thinking about saying this, I think people were like, I don't know if we should burn that bridge or if we should put that out there. And it's like, why is it wrong for me to say what just happened? Why is it wrong to just acknowledge the truth and say, this is what's going on? You know, like, I think, like how you saying, yes, it's a story, and it connects people too, because now it's like people have a reason of like, oh, I should support this. Oh, I didn't know this existed or whatever, as opposed to like, let's just act like everything's great and just keep pushing it and being professional. I think that's dumb. Because like how you said, if they want to work with you, they will work with you. At the end of the day, I believe
not necessarily like you know, like people talk about like cancel culture, right? This is not to say
Yeah.
what we're doing is like anything linked to we're doing anything that could get us canceled. But I'm like, but in general, I feel like nobody. It's very hard for someone to officially really be like canceled out of a space or out of society because I think it's like look at Kanye West for example. Kanye was has been
Oh man.
canceled and not uncanceled and canceled and uncanceled repeatedly. Even now, it's like okay, now he's just selling out stadiums, just got a new record deal and this and that. It's like the industry will say we don't want you until they want you, and then we don't need you until we need you. Same with Trump. There was a time when people were like, the Republicans don't even want Trump anymore. They're done with him. Then they lost to Biden, and we're like, okay, we need Trump again. So now he's back in style. Like everything is those. I think whenever, and I know I'm using like evil examples of like of cancel.
Right,
like,
right.
Like when you know one space might not want you, but there's another community that does. You know, just like how Amazon or these more traditional spaces didn't see the value in the things that we're doing, but there's someone else who does. And then now when the people start supporting us, the people that didn't want us are now like, oh shit, actually, you got another project that we can do
You
next,
got another project?
Yeah. You know, they just want to make money at the end of the day, you know? And
That's
I think
it. That's it.
and I feel like that's a thing of like where I think creatives also have to, I don't know how you feel, but for me, it's like, I mean, I feel like people can see like in the name of my company, like I think when I chose the name of the company and I started speaking out, there was a lot of like rage and frustration. And even till this day, I very much am like, okay, there's a lot that pisses me off about the industry. But then the more that I guess go down my independent route, I'm also learning I'm also starting to learn why those people make the decisions that they do. And it kind of makes me look at it less from a personal stance of like, oh man, fuck these people. They don't want to work with me. And more of like a logistical and financial thing where I'm like, oh, they just don't understand the business of how this could be beneficial for them. It doesn't make sense for the type of business that they're doing. And which leads us down our path where it's like, you know, the way you're releasing your movie, the way you're doing things, it's working for you. It's beneficial. It's profitable as well. And it makes sense for your business approach, which is not what they're doing. So I don't know, for you, do you have like, I don't know, was there a journey for you of like, do you have like that separation of like personal feelings towards the industry versus like your business outlook, you know?
Yeah, I would say when it comes to the industry, I just think it's sad that, and I'll use the Ryan Coogler example again, like it's that same thing of like Black people have to work twice as hard. And that's something I don't really like because it's like this man has proven everything that you can prove. And the only thing you can give him is ownership of the film in 25 years. Like, yes, it's good for Ryan's kids, right? Because Sinners will have that resurgence, right? Because I feel like it is like it's a classic. I can call it that at this point. But it's like, why is that the only thing he gets after all that time? He can't own at least 50% with Warner Bros. At the end of the day, like, and is it a money thing or whatever? I don't know. I just feel like if I ever even see a microcosm of like the level that Ryan Coogler's on, they gonna hate me. They gonna really hate me. You know what I'm saying? They gonna hate me because it's like I got the audience. I got Michael B. Jordan, right? 20 million followers. You know what I'm saying? We don't need you technically. You know, we can put up our own money and still see a profit at the end of the day. Right. Like, and that's where I'm like, that gets really interesting. Why is it in business that I feel like we always have to go to the studio to do something? Because Issa Rae kind of saw that as well throughout her journey. She was like, you know, she killed it with Insecure and all that. Then she came out with Rap Shit. And then they were like, we're not really feeling this. Canceled after the first season. And then she came out and said, you know, I don't feel like I'm busy unless my stuff is on TV. But I'm like, Issa, you got on because you started on YouTube with Awkward Black Girl.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I feel like you can never lose your independence. I don't ever want to just depend on a studio, because there might be something that I just want to do and I know they're going to say no. Like at the end of the day, like I'm like, you have to keep that for yourself, because that is just like your connection to the people. And I feel like sometimes studios just don't get it anyway. Like they just don't get it, like at the end of the day, because of whatever reason. Well, I know the reason. It's like suits and ties. Yeah. And they just don't really know our culture unless we have to like dumb it down for them. But sometimes I ain't even got time to explain, bro. I'm coming out with this shit. I ain't got time to explain to you what's going on. Like,
I mean, it's like as soon as you say you're making the Alabama Brawl documentary, you don't have to explain that to Black people. You don't have to explain why this is important or like why this is necessary to tell now. Like I remember one of my friends was like talking about filling out like I mean, just whether it's like interviews with studios and producers or filling out forms for like festivals and grants and stuff. And there's always that question of like, why does this story matter, or why now, and this and that. And there's some things like what you're doing where it's like, I don't need to explain this. I can just say I made a documentary about the Alabama Brawl, and Black people are gonna want to watch this. You know, like it's like me. I'm like, I called my film Super Nigga. We don't need stars. That's the star. Like you tell Black people, you know, like you tell Black people, yo, there's a new movie called Super Nigga. A24 is producing it. This and that, blah blah blah. Black people like, wait, what's going on? Okay, I want to know what is this? So you know, very much where it's like I always say like people need to go niche, and I think studios need to start thinking more niche as opposed to making these big broad movies that are this is for everyone. Nothing is for everyone. You know, even if it's the most selling thing ever, there's a bunch of people that don't like it. So the more you can target people, the better. And also, I think the more specific something is, the more universal it becomes. But I think, yeah, I'm excited for you to get to that point of seeing some of Ryan's success and letting these people know what time it is. Cause they need to know. What time
it is, bro. They need to know. They need to know. And I mean, I will say, I'm not the biggest fan of his movies, but Tyler Perry is the blueprint for that, where he's like, all right, like, I don't care about the Oscars. I don't care about none of that. I'm gonna go to the NAACP Image Awards, bro. And that's all that matters to me at the end of the day. And I'm gonna own everything and anything. And that's what I mean. Like, why can't a blueprint be done for that? Like for everyone else, where our like you said, like there are so many different Black films. Why can't that just be adopted for even more artsy or comedic you know, films? Let's like Scary Movie, bro. Scary Movie is about to come back out. And when I was watching the trailer, I saw a Miramax like logo pop up, and I was like, why would what's his name? Not Sean Wayans, but why would
Marlon?
Marlon, yes, thank you. Why would Marlon go back to Miramax after I heard all this stuff with Harvey Weinstein and like, bro, I don't know. Maybe for me, like the principle of like just to know what he was doing and he was the head of the company and stuff like that, I'm done. Like we finished. Because and they tried to do Scary Movie like without him, or like still the idea from Marlon, and I'm just like, bro, no, like you are not involved like on this movie ever or anything that I touch. So you know what I'm saying? It's just so interesting to me. Like
that ties into the business side where like you know, I don't know if you looked into the history of the Scary Movie franchise, but like how it started. Like I mean, you know, the Wayans family, they started it and everything, but like they first did it, like the original two were done with Miramax. And so like Miramax was the studio, and then they parted ways and Miramax took the franchise from them. That's why like they weren't in like Scary Movie 3, 4, and 5. Because they basically, it was bad business, and they got robbed of their IP. And so, and that's also why the last few Scary Movies they're all bad without the Wayans family. So I guess for them to even be able to do it, it's like Miramax still owns it. And so it's like it's almost like, wow, you're a guest in
Damn.
your own house. Like scary movies,
Right.
y'all built this house, but you don't have the keys. It's like the studio is like, all right, y'all can come back in now. Which is crazy. For me, I'm like, I can't. And that's also even why even a part of why I walked away from A24 or from the industry in general was because I was looking at like whether it was like when we were talking to A24 or like after I parted ways with them, I got Stupid Nigga got optioned by another producer, and which I was excited about, dope black producer and everything, with a lot of industry experience, and that was cool. But the thing that I felt weird about was like, so if this movie gets made, I get the smallest percentage of like ownership of,
Yeah.
sequels, of merchandise, of like everything. Everyone else is gonna get the most, and I'm gonna get the smallest thing. And I'm the one who's writing this, directing this, being the face of this. Like this would not exist without me. So that's crazy. And then when you realize that I can actually make this without any of y'all, so why would I give y'all all this ownership? It's going to be a lot more work, but I can do this without y'all. And that's what I'm like, yeah, no, I could never. I don't want to end up in a scary movie situation, like,
No,
mm-mm. Y'all not about to
absolutely
butcher
not.
this. So,
Yeah, I ain't about to
I,
butcher it at the end of the day.
yeah, so I'm with you. Ownership is very, very, very important for me. And I'm like,
It's everything, bro. It's like it's just everything because like as filmmakers, everyone and one of my partners said this and he like invests in everything we do because he's just so about it. He's like, it's called show business. People just get so fascinated with the show, they forget
mhm,
about the business. And
yep,
that's where I'm just like, yes, the business. If you're the one that put the most blood, sweat, and tears and long nights, early mornings into this thing,
mhm,
you should recoup the most out of it. The only thing that the
mhm,
studio's doing is putting up the money behind it. And then they own it. How does that make sense? Where you have no ownership, but you're the
yeah.
creator of it, you're
Mhm.
directing it, you wrote the 20 drafts, you're storyboarding, you know what I'm saying? That
Yep.
just is just backwards to me. That's why I'm just like,
Yeah.
nope, nope. Like no
Building
matter
my
what,
own
nope.
infrastructure. Well, at what point did you start being more business minded, or like were you always aware of the business side of the industry?
Oh no, I was not always business minded. I think that actually came with Lanier in 2023. So that is when I was like, okay, I got to get a lot sharper with like the business side of it
Mhm. Mhm.
because you know what I'm saying? Like filmmakers, sometimes we only get one shot to make a featured film, right?
Mhm.
Because if it fails and you put all this money into it or whatever, like it's over with. You can't make another one
Yeah.
because then you have to rinse and repeat. Then you find investors and you're like, they're like, have you done a movie before? Yeah. Was it profitable? No. Okay, I'm not
No.
investing. Like it's
Uh,
like, you know what I'm saying? So I knew when we were making Lanier, I was like, we gotta come correct. I gotta know at the end of the day that this can make money. And the
mhm.
thing is, like us as filmmakers, we have to see where the attention is
Mhm.
because where attention goes, revenue flows. That is a
Yeah.
saying that I always heard, and I was like, okay, I gotta follow that because before then, I made some stuff and then it just wouldn't make anything, and I was like, why
Mhm.
why is that? I started dissecting like why is that? I was like, oh, because nobody knows about it. They don't have a certain connection to what
Mhm.
I'm trying to do, right? So that's when I started to get really business oriented. And before even hopping into a project and saying I'm going to spend this much money or whatever, I was like, okay, I got to see there's some interest in it, like without
Mhm.
me going to do that. And that's what I mean about like the Lanier poster,
Mhm.
$100 to hire like a graphic artist to make it. And in
Mhm.
turn, there was probably like 3, 4 million people that saw the poster. So that's my indication of, and granted, like you can have a title called Super Nigga. And I know like automatically people are going to be like, they're going to stop. Right.
Yeah.
But with Lanier, it's a little different. Because if you don't know what like Lanier is, you're like, what is that? Like, why would that stop
like when
me,
when I hear the name, I automatically am like, oh, like Lanier. I lived in Georgia, so I'm like, oh, I have an idea of what this might be about. I might know, like, yep, this dealing with some dark shit, some dark history. But for people like how you're saying, people who don't have that context, they would be like, what? Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's they need something that's gonna give them a sense of what's this about.
Right, exactly. So it started with Lanier because then I was like, okay, like I came to a point because we made the sizzle, and then once we made the sizzle, that's when we got our first investor that gave us like 50K. But we got taken advantage of when even making the sizzle because I was still pretty green, to be honest. So everybody was throwing out their rates, and we were like, oh yeah, that sounds right. Like we didn't challenge anybody really. So that's when I started to understand, like, oh shit, like people, you know what I'm saying? Like if they're not a part of your tribe, I had to learn there's just some people that are just in it for the money. Everybody is not in it for the vision of like trying to, because I told a lot of people on that too. I was like, yo, like I know Lanier has a lot of momentum. I know a lot can happen from it as a profitable project, but understand we're just getting started. When I said that, niggas didn't take that to heart. They thought like, I don't know what they thought. They were just like, okay, well, this is our final project. And they switched up when the money came in. And I was like, y'all stupid. I told y'all from the beginning, like, this is just the beginning of trying to make something like bigger. Like, why would I want to go out and why would I want a career? And I'm like, I did that one time. I'm good. I'm straight. Like I can go away. No, bro. Like it don't even make sense. Like I'm in it for the long haul. So man, that project, that's the one. Honestly.
That's I get that. No, that's so important. Like how you're saying of making that distinction of who's in this for the vision, because I think that was that's why for me I'm like, I don't care to chase Hollywood people or to chase anyone. I'm really trying to find my tribe and just building my tribe and my community, because it's like if you work with your people and you guys are all on the same page and it's a long-term goal, then it's easy. It's not easy in the sense of it's just going to happen like that, but it's like the journey is going to be more exciting, more rewarding, because it's like, all right, we're not just here for a quick check. You know, like I tell people on my projects, like, hey, dog, like it's like on Malcolm X Boulevard, the movie I'm working on now. I'm telling everyone, like, probably not going to make anything today. You know, it's like, or it's going to be like a very low rate today. We are given percentages on like, back end and this and that, to where it's like, hey, look, let's just make this and it can be a really dope and awesome and fun project. And if it works out, we all win. If it doesn't, hey, we did something cool. We all have some shit to show, whatever. But I think that's important to let people know, like in indie cinema, it's like, this is not a Ryan Coogler movie. You're not making your big budget rate or whatever. Like, so you want to just do this. And especially on these independent projects, like it's probably gonna be like 2 weeks of your life. You wanna spend 2 weeks together? All right, cool. Let's go make a quick film, and then we go about our ways, and let's build this out. But independent projects really do survive off of like the intention of the team, because it's a long run thing. It's not just quick and we have all this infrastructure of a studio that's gonna like pump it out and whatever. Like it's like I see Alabama Brawl, I see posts every day, I'm seeing promo every day. It's like, I mean, we gotta push this thing, So it's that is important.
And what happened to the love of the game too? Like, there's no love for the game anymore either, bro. And I hate that. I hate that shit. I'm just like, man, like everyone has to get XYZ. I get it. Everyone has to make a living in some regard. But I think like as independent filmmakers, when you see something that is like can rocket ship and all the indications kind of line up, you just got to go for it. That shit could change your life. But because you're like, you're not giving me 500 a day or 700 a day, it's a no. You talking about 500 a day? I'm talking about 50,000, 500,000 that you could make like on the back end, or you know what I'm saying? Like there's no, you know what I'm saying? Because I ran into that still a lot, even with the track record that I've been able to like do, and I'm like that's crazy to me, but. Yeah,
everyone doesn't see the long-term goal, you know, and I get it. It's like I remember 50 Cent explaining when he did his record deal, how he was like he took less money up front to have more ownership down the line, to make more money off of like whether it was like the royalties or whatever, just more ownership and getting more money long term. Because it was like I think he did the math of like, thank God he didn't take that deal, because it was nothing. It sounded like a lot up front, and that's the thing. When you hear that number, it sounds like a lot of money up front. But then when you actually do the math and break it down, like if someone's like, "Okay, we're going to give you $100,000 on this movie," right? And you're like, "Okay, cool. No one else is giving me that money. Cool, whatever." You take that money, and let's say you get no back end on it. The movie ends up making $10 million or whatever. You're like, "Oh, I could have made $1 million. I could have made whatever if I would have just had 10% of the movie, you know?" Like, so at the end of the day, it's like you got to do the math, or break down like the amount of time that I'm going to put into this project. Like a movie, especially as a director, or if you're like in a, you know, one of the larger positions, you're going to be living with that for more than a year. You know, you're going to be from the development to the pre-production to the production to the promotion, whatever. It's like you're living with that for a long time. So if you're fighting over, you know, a couple of dollars or whatever, or excited about a couple of dollars, it's cool. But then when you break down the math of like, okay, I'm working on this for like 5 years, that 50,000 or $100,000 in the moment, or let's say 10, whatever it is up front, is going to be nothing compared to all that time when you break down the hours and what the money could actually make. But also, it's like I think when people are, you know, fighting over the rate, it's like, are you aware that you know, yes, you want to make this money, but like you can make more money and spend your time working on something that sucks and you hate, or you could make less money right now so that we could put more money into the thing and actually make something that we're proud of and that has more chances to make more. It's just do the math. Just break it down.
just
And
do
like how you said, do you want to like do you like do it for the love of it? Like, but that thing, a lot of people don't actually love this stuff. You know, a lot of people are just like
they don't.
they're just like, okay, I just see it as like it's a gig, and
It's a gig. It's a gig.
you know,
That's it.
and I
It's a
go,
gig for them, and it's like, bro, like you don't. I get it. I get it. If you're like, yeah, it's just like that thing. Like, there's so many people that just wanna, and we have to have both, right? Like, we have to have people that are like, care. I'm just here to do my job. I don't care about nothing else, right?
yeah,
But it's just like, to the people that understand what you're trying to do and they understand why it would work, right, among a large group of people, those are the people where I'm like, bro, like, why would you, if you understand the concept and you understand its culture, why are you just trying to get a quick 500 a day or 600 a day? Why not obtain more out of that? Like at the end of the day, even if it's like, because even with Lanier, like I had to tell like our DP, who's phenomenal, like, bro, because his rate was way higher than 500 a day. But I brought him back down there because I said, I'll give you points. And he was like, I'm gonna be honest, bro, like, this is like my first time doing this, because filmmakers don't really offer that, and you don't really make money off the back end. And I was like, I promise you, like, I can't make no guarantees, but because we're in so much debt trying to make this movie, I ain't got no fucking choice but to make money at this point. Like, if we don't make money, we losing everything. So we gonna make something shake. And he's been getting paid for like 2 to 3 years now, just because of that decision. So it don't always work out that way, but you know, when you got strong conviction, you got to go for it. Like,
you gotta believe, because Like that's what that can pay. That's like that you getting paid off of that regularly. That's adding up. And there's filmmakers who like there's this one filmmaker, Jim Cummings, who's got this film Thunder Road, and oh sorry, just got a random email. Okay, but this one film, yeah, he's got a film called Thunder Road, which he did for like I think $200,000 or whatever, and
Mhm.
and since it's come, I think it came out like 2018, 2019. I don't know, a few years ago, but he says in every interview that is his retirement fund now. Like that movie is he owns everything. It's making money regularly to the point where it's like I'm good. I like everyone who worked on that movie is seeing money regularly. Like how you saying with this DP,
Mhm.
it's like you are actually,
Mhm.
there is a way to make profitable projects, So, but it does require that sacrifice up front, or not sacrifice, but that investment of like, hey, we're in this for the long run. Let's do this. And then also it's like even what you're saying of like the cultural impact, like that's also a reward, a benefit, like to see people just be gravitating to this project or to celebrate this project and talk about the importance of it. Because this is, I mean, that event that is history. We every single August 5th, I'm like, especially for me as a comedian, like every August 5th, like people are bringing it up at a show, like or like there's a black themed comedy show up where it's like, well, all right, bring out your folding chairs or whatever. So it's like, this is
Yeah.
something that people are gonna talk about, people are gonna be invested in forever. So like to actually and like the fact that I don't even think anyone else has made a documentary about this yet. And that was
Mm.
also what was dope about this, that I feel like a lot of times when we
Mhm.
think of documentaries, we think of it as like, oh, this thing that happened forever ago. But the fact that you were like, I'm making a documentary about something that just happened. That was exciting for me. I was like, wow, we're actually documenting something today. And the fact that you were able to tie it back to like, I mean, all that history in Montgomery, like literally that being like the river being the entryway for like enslaved Africans, the market where they were selling everyone, like it's just like, oh yeah, this is crazy. Like even how you say in the documentary, like, this is just a culmination of tensions that have been building for generations. And,
Yeah.
within that, and I just got chills even saying that, but like, and that's like shit that tensions that were just building there, but then in the country specifically, and just, it's like, how can we're acting like everything's normal and fine when it's like there's all this history that we still have not talked about. And
Yeah.
so it's very important work, and I feel like on a project like that, I think it is like it is important for the people involved to have that understanding of like this is not about just making a quick check up front, like
No,
whether
it's not
this
making a
you
quick
know
check. Mm-mm.
this is preserving history,
Yes.
so it's
Preserving
like yeah,
history. It's just
we're in,
different.
mhm, investing in the project, and I'm like, and it's a really really good documentary. I was watching it again this morning
Thank you, man.
before we get into it. I was like I love that it's 50 minutes. I was like it's a I mean just looking at the documentary, I was like this feels like I don't know how intentional a lot of the things that I'm picking up on, and not say that you're not intentional, but like, I'm just like the fact that it's 50 minutes, the fact that it's on Tubi, the fact that it's about something so recent, the fact that you've been using like social media. I'm like, all of these are the reasons why I like it, why I've gravitated to it. I feel like a lot of times a documentary feel like when I hear about a documentary or open up a documentary, I'm like, all right, this is about to be some long thing, and as much as I'm invested in it, I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna have to like sit down and really, or it's going to be like a 10-part thing or whatever. But this was very much like, oh, this was like just enough. It's like when a movie is 90 minutes instead of like a 2.5 hour long movie. I'm like, oh, that was just enough time for me to just be able to throw it on. I can watch, even if I want to rewatch it, I can just throw it on and know that I can get to it from beginning to end and it's not taking up my whole day. It's on Tubi. It's free. I can tell other people, go watch this, go watch it. You don't have to invest anything. Just put it on. The filmmaker's gonna make money, just put it on. So it's like it's all very forward thinking. The fact that it's a recent thing, you know, like you're able, and that's also the power of being independent. You're able to move at a pace that if you were working with a network, this would take a
Mm-hmm.
long time for them
Long time,
to
man.
the development, the approval, the release, everything. So, you know, it's
Yeah.
like today, if another similar incident happens, or if, you know, something happens in the country, you can just be like, all right, we're gonna go make a documentary about that and put it out like in a week, in a month, in whatever, you know. So just
Yeah.
respect to what you have done.
Man, respect
That's
to
my
you
thing.
too, man. I love that we share that, like, just that
Yeah.
mindset, like, of just going out there and getting it done, man, at the end of the day. Because
Hmm.
also we got to remember, the more independent successes we have, that is
Hmm.
our ammunition for when we go to a studio or whatever.
Leverage.
Leverage. We have leverage. We have the audience. We have, you're looking at them kind of like Tyler did and say,
Mhm.
honestly, the only thing I need you for is distribution to get this in theaters. That's all I need you for.
That's that's what I feel like for like the last few years. Sorry if I cut you off.
No,
But
you're
I
good.
feel
You're
like
good.
for the last few years, I was always like, because I make music too, and so I was always looking at the music industry, how it's you know, that has its flaws and like its problems, but I feel like the way that musicians have been able to start careers and just do things all on their own has been so inspiring. Like especially in 2016 when like the SoundCloud era, like the SoundCloud rap scene was happening, where like XXX and like Ski Master Sump God, all those guys from Florida and stuff were like just blowing up, just putting stuff on SoundCloud, or even like going back to Soldier Boy, like just uploading shit on YouTube and LimeWire and stuff, and like building his own audience off of shit that he just made in his bedroom, no money, with his friends, making music videos here and there, just like on the go, and to the point where you build your own audience, attract the labels, and then all the labels do is be like, oh, this song is already blown up. We're just gonna distribute it to a wider audience. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that's the way that filmmakers need to be thinking, where it's like the Alabama Brawl documentary. Let's say that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where it's like a studio's like, oh, okay, can we like put it in a wide release in a theater? Can we do a limited theatrical release or something? Or like, let's put some marketing dollars behind this and help expand the reach, because you've already done all the work. Now you just need a push, or like more of an infrastructure behind you for distribution, because we can make all the
Hmm.
stuff, you know. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of filmmakers, the problem is we have like, I think we've been spoiled, especially like you know, I'm 31, so I'm like, I've seen the industry before the internet, before streaming, before TikTok and everything, and I feel like kids growing up today, I think I'm seeing a lot of filmmakers on YouTube, or on even just like, I don't know, just young filmmakers. Like I know this one kid who's 23 and he's already made like 13 feature films since he was in eighth grade for like no money, all
Wow.
like $0, $30.
Wow.
I think his most recent, his name's Jacob Boatsman. His most recent film was for $3,000, and it looks like he did it. I'm like, this looks like $100,000, like because he's been so scrappy for all these years that he knows how to, whether it's how to get favors, how to make things look of quality, or this and that. The movie before that was a $30 movie, and I saw the trailer and I was like, this looks like you had at least $10,000 or $20,000. Like, so I'm seeing all these like
Wow.
young kids who, I think for them, because they grew up with TikTok and like YouTube and just like making sketches and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, I can just go make a movie and just put it on YouTube or put it on Tubi, and whether it makes money or not, that's fine. Like they're just happy to just make shit with their friends and put it out. And I think that's inspiring me, where I'm like, that's how musicians work, where you make songs, you make mixtapes, you make albums for free, for nothing, and then you just put it on the internet and you promote it, and then you do shows, and then you move on to the next thing. It's not like I think musicians don't have to work like, all right, everything that I make needs to be my beautiful dark twisted fantasy or my my channel orange. Like it doesn't have to be like my magnum opus. Versus like I think filmmakers, because
Mm-hmm.
film for so long has been like required so much of like a budget or like so many resources and tools that, like how you said, when you look at every film, like if this doesn't work, this is going to ruin the chances of me making the next film. So that puts the pressure of, I got to make this the most this has to be Sinners, and it has to have Sinners level success. So it makes
Yes.
us make less, versus being like, okay, this is the movie I'm making this year, or this is the movie I'm making now, and it's gonna be great. I'm gonna make the best thing I can make right now, and then the next thing is gonna be the next best thing, and the next best thing, and the next best thing. I have another friend who made a $500 feature film, and that got into the
Mm-hmm.
Tribeca Film Festival. And I'm like, oh wow, like the fact that you're able to make a dope movie for $500, you're already able to be profitable
Crazy.
off of like you don't even have to make that much money for it to be
Crazy.
profitable. If that movie makes $1,000, you can say
You
we
won.
yeah, we already doubled our
Wow.
profit. You don't even have to say the budget. And now the next movie, let's say the next movie is a $5,000 movie, or then a $10,000 movie, and then you just keep building and building. And as you're building it, the audience builds, and because the budgets are smaller, you're able to just put it out or do whatever you want with it. Um, and that's literally what he's doing. Like now he's doing a YouTube series. This guy's name is Sek. Yeah, his film was So Far All Good, and now he has been putting out a web series called Reggie in Real Life, just on YouTube and Instagram, and that's expanding his audience. So I'm like, every project that he does, his audience is just growing, and they're growing with the project to the point where it's like, if you want to crowdfund, let's say you want to raise $20,000 for the next project. Now he can do that, and then if that works out, then the next
Wow.
project you can raise 50, then 100. So I'm just like, or you'll start attracting investors. So it's really like, what we're all doing is, I think, the way to go. Where it's just like, I'm just gonna make this and put it out, and make the next thing and put it out, and the budgets will grow and everything will come, but we don't have to hold ourselves hostage to, I got to make a $5 million movie and I need all this and that.
Bro.
That's
So
done.
true. That's done. That's completely done, man. You can have a good career just making indies. And if you don't want to go any further than that, you can absolutely do that. And it took me time to learn that too, because I
Mhm.
think like coming into it, right? Like I would say, I'm gonna record this because this is actually like, I just thought about that. Because I started really getting the itch to write feature films because of Get Out
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
2016. That's kind of what gave me
Mhm.
that itch to say, okay, I want to make a social commentary horror. But in general, I want to make like horror thriller movies.
Mhm.
But I saw what Pill did, and I was like, oh, I gotta immediately aim for that. And that's the
Mhm.
wrong way to think about it, because I wasn't
Mhm.
thinking about what Pill did before Get Out. I had to reverse engineer
Mhm.
and say, oh,
Yeah.
okay, he was on Key and Peele first. And even before that, he was on, I think he was on
Mad
Mad TV
TV.
first.
Yeah.
Right. And then he went to Key and Peele. And then he did that for like 10 years or however long. Like he did that for him. And he made his connections then. And then he made Get
Mhm.
Out. You know what I'm
And even
saying?
Get Out, it's like he did all that, and Get Out was still a low budget. That was still like, I think, what, $3 million movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$3 million. And
So
that's why I'm like,
so it's like
oh,
still
like,
had to start
okay.
small after doing all of that work. Like
Yes.
what you said
After
about Ryan
all that.
Coogler, it's like took 13 years to then make Sinners. So we have to
13
put in our
years,
time
bro.
too.
Yeah, we got to put in our time. That's why I was like, man, I was so wrong about that. I started the journey 2016 and I didn't make my first film until 2023. That's like 7 years of trying to make the first one. So that just lets you know,
Yeah.
like, okay, you got to put in the time to really, you know what I'm saying? Like to
Yeah.
elevate. And that's okay.
hmm And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, even still, even like that track record that you're on, like that's even fast, for to make your first feature. Like, and I commend you, because I'm like, there's so many people who've like been doing it like way longer who still haven't done a feature or still don't know how. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm like, I gotta give you your flowers for that because that's
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
but yeah, no, if you can, yeah, talk about like the journey of like how did you even how did you go from okay, I want to make, I mean, being inspired by Get Out to then realize to then okay, I'm gonna make my first movie.
Um, yeah, so Get Out was, I would say it started with Breaking Bad. Let me go back. I started with Breaking
Yeah.
Bad. I saw that
Uh-huh.
and I was like, heck yeah, I wanna make a show or a series that makes me
Hmm.
feel what I felt in this show, which is like
Hmm.
you see someone go from, as Vince Gilligan said, you see someone go from Mr. Chips to Scarface. That was the
Yeah.
first time where I was like, okay, that's dope. I like that. So I wrote a series first. That's where I found out about the industry because we were doing a lot of these script competitions. And I
Hmm.
wrote it with someone that was way more experienced than me at the time.
Hmm.
Because that was my first script I ever wrote, and it was called Trapped. And it kind of went into the story of like an adopted child, an adopted Black child with an all-white family.
Hmm.
And pretty much his brother went to prison for him because he the adopted child's name is Andre, and Andre pretty much killed their father because he was abusive, but John took the rap for it. So then
Hmm.
pretty much Andre's in this new adopted world. He's very privileged, and then his brother gets out of prison and he's like, yo, bro, I'm back. Like, we're gonna go back to how it was. And Andre's like, this is, I'm with the Brady Bunch now. Like, I just can't go
Yeah.
back to, I made it out. You didn't. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So then the show kind of has conflict between the both of them and how John, now he's a product of his environment from being in prison. He's in some shit he shouldn't be in, and he's trying to pull Andre into that to come out of this newly privileged world. So that's where it all started for me. So then I learned about like, okay, like what makes a good script, what makes good plots, etc. Then I came across Get Out. And I think for like the whole world, myself included, I was like, oh my God, you can do that in a film. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you can make a horror film, but like it's centered around like racism or just like
Hmm.
real topics. I think that's
Yeah.
what really blew me away. And then that's where I found out like with horror, you can talk about a lot of stuff and just
Hmm.
wrap it in a horror movie and not come off as preachy. So then Lanier came on my radar because I think it was 2020, 2021, I learned about Lake Lanier and the history of how it covers a thriving Black community called Oscarville. So immediately I was already like, man, that's so cool. It kind of has like those Get Out elements as to where, you know what I'm saying? Like this
Hmm.
town was destroyed because of a redundant story in Black history. I was like, it's perfect. So then we wanted to work with a team who wanted to make it more found footage. And I was like, I don't really
Hmm.
want to do that for this movie. I think it's better if it's traditional. But I'm 4 years like in my journey, or at the time, like 8 years. I still haven't really made anything. So I was like, okay, we'll try it. And then they're like, you know what? We don't even need a script. And I was like, huh? Like, what do you mean? They were like, we can just go off bullet points. And I was like, bro, y'all don't know what the fuck y'all are doing. That's like immediately what I first thought. But then the straw that broke the camel's back were like, you know what? We don't even got to pay nobody. We'll call in favors. I was like, it's dope if we could do that, right? But I was like, that's not going to be like my first option if y'all don't
Yeah.
know people who can actually make a movie and you're calling
Hmm.
in favors. They didn't even really
Yeah.
know nobody. So I was like, you know what? I'm good. And then we had a little back and forth with that team. And I told him, the last thing I told the guy who basically was trying to like, showboat, because apparently they had all this money. They lived in the country club. They were rich, quote unquote. He was like, I got a lot of access to capital. And I was like, that's cool, but you don't want to use any of the capital. And I understand that's how the rich stay rich. But
Hmm.
I was like, we gotta pay for something at the end of the day. We can't make it all for free, even if it's $500. We have to spend something. And the last thing I told him was, well, at the end of the day, you can't stop destiny. That's the last thing I said to him, because I was like, no matter what, we will figure out how to tell this story. because I became like very just gun hold on Lanier. I was like, I'm gonna tell this story. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it some way or the other. And I guess when I found out like how hard it is to raise money, I was like, fuck it. We're gonna just run up the credit cards. We're gonna do this thing because I know for a fact it's going to work. And those were some of the like darkest days, but I always held firm on the proof is in the pudding. We made a poster and went viral. The Facebook went crazy. People want this story. And that's why I didn't come off it. That's why I didn't come off of it. Because I had my proof right there of like everybody wants the story. But it's all about who's going to make it at the end of the day. And that was pretty much the journey of like coming out with Lanier and it doing what it did. And that's where Amazon kind of came into play, because at the time you could sign up for an Amazon Video Direct account, and that's where I got in 2023. I made that account and they accepted it, and that's where we were able to market it. We went with a few blogs to post about it. And from there, we basically made our budget back from blogs, really. I mean,
that's crazy.
It really came from the blogs, to be honest. Like everything else was like, like I remember in September of 2023, when we came out with it, I think we had made like 9 to 10K. And I was like, damn, like that's good. That's 10% of the budget. But I was like, man, 100K is such a large number. And that's when I really found out about like, okay, like if you want just some free game, if you want to amplify your film, try to find some blogs that you can share your film on that has like an urban demographic. And then from there, because that's what happened with Alabama Brawl. That's probably why you saw an ad. I did a lot of blog work with Alabama Brawl, just telling my story of being rejected from Amazon, just trying to get people to rally up. And now I can run ads on it because there's so many followers. I no longer have to make the audience. Facebook and Instagram are finding my audience in that way. So it's like once you really proven like, okay, there's people that care about this thing, you can absolutely run ads on it. Like, because then you're no longer trying to find it. And I'm not even the most experienced like person to be running ads, but that's what I've realized now, that a lot of big movies do. Like, and of course, they have the money. They can say, okay, I'm about to spend $2 million on this ad to get people interested. And it's just pure awareness. I don't even want any money. I just want you to know this exists. And then they're able to get the audience that comes in. So
I mean, they're spending usually 50% of the movie budget on ads. So it's like if the movie costs 100 million, 50 million in marketing. Crazy.
It's crazy.
But that's what leads to those $1 billion box offices. But it's also like, in our cases, it is necessary. It's like we've been following La Russell.
Yeah, man.
Rapper.
Oh man, not La Russell, bro.
I was like, I'm rooting for you. This is like, especially as an independent, I'm like, that's someone who's very much been preaching all the stuff that we're talking about, even like, especially with like ads. He always talks about like, he runs $300,000 in ads a month and stuff like that. And so, that means he's making way more than that 300,000, but that's what's needed in order to reach all these people and target those audiences. And I think that's something that a lot of filmmakers need to start learning about. It's not just about just relying on the algorithm or whatever. It's a mix of, okay, you got to invest in the promotion. You have to get creative with the promotion. There's a lot that's at our control. And also, we got to listen to our engineers and not drop the heaven. We're all heaven sent songs.
Yeah, bro, you got to listen to people that may know more than you, because they like, look, I get what you're trying to say, but does the general public get what you're trying to say?
Right, because once that gets clipped, everybody's not going to go and try to look into all the context behind, oh no, this is what he meant, and blah blah. It's like, this is what he said. It was crazy. So
And the timing of it is just terrible because I'm like, bro, you just literally signed to Jay-Z, and there's a lot of
yeah,
controversy around him. They're
yeah,
gonna say you took a
yep,
humiliation ritual,
yep.
like you know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, like the timing of which you did that could not have been any worse. Like, why would
No,
you? And then you delete everything. I'm like, nah, just stand
yeah,
on it now. Like, you might as well.
yeah. Because it's like that's the you can't backtrack. It's just it's the kind of situation where it's like not everything you do is gonna be wrong, but at least stay the closest to your truth than anything, because it's gonna take time to work through this to regain the public's trust or whatever. But yeah, no, it's definitely all bad timing, terrible response to the situation. But yeah, no, but just when you're talking about ads, it did make me think of him, because I'm like, that's someone who preaches a lot about it and has seen success with it. And that's stuff that I'm like, I even need to learn more about and look into. So I appreciate you
Bro,
for this.
oh yeah, of course.
I wanted to ask, like, was there any inspiration, like I guess, yeah, inspirations for you, like when it came to, I know, like how you said, like Jordan Peele was an inspiration, but especially on like the independent side, when it came to really, okay, how you either figuring out how to make things or how to distribute, or especially now where you're fully like, okay, I understand the business, and I'm all in on like going independent. Who have been inspirations?
Oh man, inspirations. I would say it's
Or
more on
even
the
like people
mhm.
even people you learn from, not necessarily, it doesn't, because I feel like inspiration can sometimes uh be too heavy handed, because it's like there's people who did not inspire me, but I learned from their
Right,
moves or like their skills or whatever.
right.
But yeah.
Yeah. I feel like actually, like from a movie standpoint, I didn't really, I couldn't really learn from someone that was doing it independent because I didn't know of anyone who was doing
Mhm,
it independent in 2023. And what I'm
mhm,
saying is, I knew independent filmmakers, but never someone that made a profitable feature film that
mhm,
put me on game and
mhm,
said, hey, make sure when you make the movie, you cut a banging trailer because that puts butts in seats, or that makes people say, okay, yes, I want to rent or buy. And then you're going to put that on a blog. And then you're going to like none of that. But I would say I learned more so on the music side from people like Russ, for instance,
mhm, mhm.
La Russell, like we talked about earlier.
Yep,
He was
yep.
someone I learned from.
Mhm.
Who else was it on the music side that was like independent? I'm trying to think. There were some other people. Nipsey talked about that. God
Mhm.
rest his soul. And it was always from the music side, honestly. Never did I hear a
Yeah.
filmmaker say like, you know, I'm an independent filmmaker and this is how you can make
Mhm,
a living off of it.
mhm,
Because I think the filmmakers that I've at least came across, it's more so they're like selling a course, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's more so a course on how to get into filmmaking, but not how to make a film be
mhm,
profitable. Um,
mhm.
so yeah, came from music, honestly, music artists.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean that's like what I was saying earlier. I was like, yeah, the SoundCloud rap scene is what had me thinking about independence. I think the only not only, but I think the big person that comes to mind when I think of like an independent filmmaker that has talked about independence and has shown a path is like Spike Lee. I'm like, other than Spike, it's
Mm-hmm.
really like there's people who started out independently and then moved on, or they're independent, but it's like it's not really their brand. Like Spike Lee, I feel like is very much associated with like I'm doing it, my do it yourself, do it for your with your people and whatever, and like culturally influenced work. But yeah, I feel like I think part of why we learn so much from musicians, I think, is because like filmmakers are uh well, there's a few reasons. I feel like filmmakers in general, a lot of filmmakers don't necessarily want to be in front of the camera. I mean, that's why a lot of us direct. It's like I want to tell the story and have all these other people be the faces and whatever, and I just want to worry about making the thing. I just want to make the art. But But then also, I don't think there was ever really a need for filmmakers to really be out on the scene talking and sharing the story of how things are made, because it was always like, I make the thing, the producers will handle it, the distributor will do this and do that. There was always, even in the past, like when people were independent, there was, I guess, more of a infrastructure and more of a system for independent films. Versus today, it's like, how,
Mm-mm.
like, there's no one really supporting independent films. So now filmmakers do have to be more vocal, and we do have to kind of do all the stuff that you and I are doing, whether it's like promoting, posting content, doing interviews and this and that, and sharing our stories. So there's more of a reason to share. Um, but yeah, no, I feel you. It does feel like film has been gate kept. But even
Mhm.
in general, I feel like even on the even the opposite, like the industry side, it's also hard to learn about, like, all right, like how does one become a studio filmmaker or anything. I think film in general has been gate kept,
Yeah.
and separate from the people. So that's why I'm like, I feel like this era is, I think it's going to inspire a lot of people,
Oh
on
yeah.
the the filmmaker side and on the audience side, because it's like, oh, now we actually have to talk to each other. Now, like, the audience actually gets to learn about, like, how a film got made, why you have, like, even for you, like, why you're going this route, why you're going to Tubi, why you're putting it out yourself, why you're marketing it. Like, there's more of a, it's demystified, which also helps
Yes.
people care. Because I
Yes.
think in the past there was a an incentive to not tell people how we did this or why we're doing this. It was just like, let me be the mysterious artist. And I think all that is like, people want to feel like you're a real person.
They want to feel like you're a real person at the end of the day. That's so true. It just is so relatable, right? Because it's always like
Mhm.
somebody, even if they're not a filmmaker or in our industry, everybody
Mhm.
has faced a roadblock. Everyone has faced a objection.
Mhm.
Everybody, it's just so relatable too. I feel
Mhm.
like our field and why people, if you market yourself right, like why people can get behind it, because it's like you're literally
Mhm.
going against these multi-million-dollar companies, and who doesn't
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
somebody to
And
win that's doing that.
and there's more people who can relate to, yeah, there's more people who relate to our side versus the opposite. There's, in general, people are always rooting for an underdog, and I think that's where
Hmm.
a lot of people forget about that. A lot of people want to not be the underdog, because I mean, it is hard and it is, like, stressful, and but it's like, yeah, there's more people who can relate to you, like, and I think that's where even, like, I don't know if you've seen, like, the conversations online where the budget. I think, like, there was reports about, like, how much Brad Pitt, Quentin Tarantino, and David Fincher are making on the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel or
Mm.
prequel. Where, like, I think they said Brad Pitt is making $40 million, Quentin Tarantino is getting 20 million, and David Fincher is getting 20 million for directing. And people are starting to be like, what the hell are these numbers? Like, why are these people, like, it's one thing for us to be criticizing studio heads where we're like, okay, these guys are making all these crazy salaries, but then, film workers aren't. But then at the same time, it's like, we've never really been judging, why is an actor getting paid the same price as the movie? Or why is this actor getting more than what the movie costs? Why is this director, like, at what point is this at what point does this stop making sense? Like, can we just have, like, just an actual, just a actual salary that I don't know, like, break down the math for me. Like, where does the
Yeah.
20 million add up? Like, so
Yeah.
I think that's where I think now people are starting to, and I think that's going to help with, like, for independent filmmakers, where people are like, well, you got these people who are just trying to make one movie for a fraction of what a studio is paying this one person. I want to root for this person, because at least I know that they're just trying to put all that, like, they're trying to put $1 million into the whole movie. They're trying to put $200,000 into the whole movie, and they're probably gonna get a little bit of that, or even if they are making money, it's I don't know, it just makes more sense, you
It
know.
just makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know, I think, and especially in these times where like, okay, the economy is a mess, the industry is a mess. Um, just for a regular person to get a job, it's a mess. And even like when I listen to music, I love rap music, but I feel like the more that time passes, I'm like, I would feel weird as a rapper to be talking about all the money I have and calling other people like broke niggas and this and that, da, 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 when I'm like, that's most people today. That's most people who look like me. They're not saying most people who look like me are broke, but like most people who look like me are not having $1 billion or like hundreds of millions of
Mm,
dollars. So it's like you're not
no.
relatable at this point. And I think that's where, like how we're saying, like independent filmmakers are way more relatable, or anyone who's an underdog is way more relatable. So it's like use that to your advantage. And again,
Absolutely.
everything that you were calling out about the hardships or the struggles or the challenges you were facing with your film is what made me excited about the film. So I think more people need to start doing that. And have you had
Yeah.
anybody on your journey? You don't have to be specific, you don't have to name names or anything, but or have has whether there's been people or experiences that made you question question the idea of should I be sharing this underdog story or versus let me like for example, I'll say on my end, I'm very vocal when we lose an investor, when we don't get when we get rejected from a studio, whatever. Just like how you've been with like, Amazon. Um and I've had people tell me like, like with Super Nigga, I remember I had someone tell me like, let's not like before when we walked away from A24 and the film hadn't gotten optioned by a producer yet. I had someone telling me like, okay, maybe you shouldn't be so vocal about like how the studios, how things didn't go well with studios, or like how we're struggling to figure out how to make the movie. And I was like, but we are, and that is what's happening. So why should we lie? And then that doing that is also what led to people reaching out and being like, "Oh, let me connect you to this person. Let me connect you to this studio. Let me connect you to this producer, this manager, whatever." And that's how I ended up getting uh the script option by some other producers, and that got me paid to work on the script and whatever. So for me, I always felt like, we talked about it earlier of just being honest, but I'm like, I think it is something that sometimes is looked down upon or advised against in the industry, because I think people focus on showing your best face, or like, making things look better than they actually are, as opposed to being honest. And so have you ever had doubts about doing that, or challenges from others or experiences?
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to like the journey, at least with Alabama Brawl, I didn't really face any of that. Like, oh, don't share the journey, don't be vocal
Mm.
about it. It's just more so like I feel like the general information out there is like, don't be vocal about when someone says no, or when the
Yeah.
studio says no, this, that, and the third. And that's where I've kind of like, but that's not truthful. Like if you're raising money, I think that gives people more of a, I gotta send him like $5, like bare
Hmm.
minimum, or a
Hmm.
dollar, just because he's really going through it, trying to make this
Hmm.
thing, and he's giving me so much value. So why wouldn't I do it?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's normally, and I've noticed that too. Like you'll hear like movie stars say what role they rejected, right? But
Hmm.
they won't say like what studio passed on their film,
Hmm. Hmm.
which
Hmm.
is, it's just kind of crazy to me, because it's like, why does it
Yeah.
even matter? It's just got passed on it. I mean,
Yep.
doesn't mean I'm shaming you or anything, because
Hmm.
sometimes that could be for the project's benefit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think
Hmm.
people don't even like realize that. Now, I don't know the data between like how much studio heads actually care about that,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
like, bro, that might not even, it don't even cross their radar, I feel like sometimes, because they're
No.
they're making so much stuff, they're so busy, like
Mhm.
You know, unless your thing becomes like, I mean, like gigantic,
Yeah.
then who knows? What are they gonna do? Like at the end of the day, if your project has made so much and they said no, it's just more so they need to look in the mirror and say, damn, we shot
Mhm.
ourselves in the foot. Bring him
Mhm.
back in
Mhm.
here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What they're gonna do is they're gonna fire the person who turned you down at the office, and then they're like, okay, you fucked up. We're gonna replace you with someone else, and now let's bring that person in, so now we can make your next project together. That's
exactly.
it.
Because I'm
That's
like,
it.
what are they gonna do? They're gonna blackball you from Hollywood? Oh,
No, no,
like
no. They want to make money.
they want to make money at the end of the day. And it's like, you know, I don't know. I just think it's like people be worried about that, but
Yeah.
the world is small, but like I feel like in the world of like studios making these gigantic projects, it's like we don't have time to say like who's slandering us because
Mhm.
like, you know, and that's why PR exists, right? Because the
Mhm.
studio can be hearing all this noise about like what's wrong with them, XYZ, and the PR reps are like, don't feed into it, don't even say
Mhm.
anything,
Mhm.
remain neutral. Because the moment
Yep.
you start talking about it, it means like you care, like, you
Yep.
know. So I just
Mhm.
think like when people say that advice, like don't say this, don't say that.
Mhm.
It's just like who cares? I'm telling the journey at the end of the day. Like,
Yep. Mhm.
bro, you'll do another project, they don't even know you're behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's at the end of the day, especially for us as independent filmmakers. I'm like, we kind of have to do whatever is required to get our things on people's radars. Whether it's like I got to be vocal, I got to be honest, or I got to have some kind of crazy stunt. I don't know if you've have you been following. There's this one filmmaker. I forget her last name. We follow each other. Her name's hold on, let me just find it. Nina Lee. Her Instagram is Nina Serafina. But basically, there's like this post that's been going around. Just a lot of conversation around her because she posted a tweet that was saying a studio is considering buying her movie that's already done. It stars Country Wayne and Coco Jones. It's a rom com, a black rom com
oh
called I
yes,
think
yes, yes,
that's
yes.
her. Yeah. So like yeah, all the conversation around like how the studio doesn't want to buy it unless her movie unless this other movie You Me in Tuscany or whatever, which is made by a white director, not a black director, but happens to star black people. If that movie does well, they'll buy her movie, and then another studio is looking into her project, and so it's causing a lot of conversation. And I remember I was like, me and another filmmaker friend, we were like, already this is why we're like fuck Hollywood because I don't feel like I have to prove to y'all why you should buy the movie. We have the people, but I think on her end it is. I mean, what I remember, I was like, whether it's true or not that a studio is, basically holding her project in limbo. Um, this is great marketing because now it's like everybody is talking about your movie. The industry is now paying attention to your movie. This is causing a conversation around black rom coms, around black movies. So yeah, I feel like it's like people just need. I'm like, say everything, share the
Yeah,
whole process.
the
Like
whole
that.
process.
It only invites people more and more and makes people more invested because now it's like, oh, now I have a reason to root for this. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you're on the same path and been on that path.
Absolutely, man. How ridiculous is that? Yeah, depending on how this does, then we can buy your
Mhm.
movie. She should just come out with it anyway. You have Country Wayne in it. This man makes
Ex-
like 1,400 videos a month with his fan base. Why the fuck are you waiting?
don't
Why are we
need,
waiting on a yes from what are they gonna do? Are they just gonna put it in
but
theaters? Maybe that's what she
but that's
wants.
where maybe the issue because I questioned it too, and I'm like, I'm just talk to her, but I feel like I think it might be maybe it might come down to like terms that were dealt with the investors, whether it's like, because it's like some people invest in the project and they're like, you have to like, we require that this has theatrical release, or that a studio gets behind it or something, like, so otherwise we're not releasing it. So I don't
Ah,
know. I
okay,
don't know.
okay.
Maybe there's investor terms, or like, agreements that were made that are like, we have to go down this route. So it's requiring her to go to the studio, but for me, I'm on the same page as you, where I'm like, you have Coco Jones, you have Country Wayne, and there's other people who also have like Tabitha, what's her name? Tabitha Jones, or Tabitha, I forget her last name, but
Yeah,
she's on TikTok, and is like the older black lady.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, that's a whole, like, she's got a whole platform, a whole audience. So I'm like, between, I feel like if I actually want to go through the whole cast and just look at all their followings and add it up and be like, between everyone involved in this movie, there's millions of followers. There's a whole community that you don't need a studio for. You can just literally go to
yeah,
the people and be like, y'all want this? Drop the trailer. Like,
yeah. It's called That's Her, right? Or what is it called?
yeah, 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 that's her.
Oh, that's her.
I think
Okay,
it's like something with her. I think that's her is the name.
okay,
But I'm
okay. And
literally
who? And
like,
what's the director again?
Nina Lee.
Nina Lee. Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah,
just look that up.
yeah. Her Instagram is Nina Serafina.
Nina Serafina.
Let me
Oh yeah,
see.
they're holding the purchase of her. Yeah, that's her until they see the
Yeah,
success of you being Tuskegee.
yeah. I'm like, dude, y'all literally don't need. You got Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown alone got a whole audience. Loretta Devine, or is it Devine? I never know how to say her last name, but the mom from This Christmas. Yes.
Yes,
I'm like,
exactly.
Country Wayne, Coco Jones, like the whole cast. I'm like, yeah, y'all can but that's where, and again, I don't know what the conversations or the agreement is with the cast, but I'm like, going back to what you were saying earlier, of like, you got to make sure that everyone's on the same page, whether it is, are y'all here for a check or for the overall vision? Because I think if that cast is on the same page, and I'm like, then all y'all need to do is just, let's make this thing happen together. Like, literally, y'all all have your own followings. You can direct all those people to the movie. Whether it's like having even the audience call up movie theaters and be like, "Hey, we want to see this movie. We want to see this
Yeah.
movie." There's this other movie called Iron Lung, which came out earlier this year, which was made by a YouTuber, Markiplier,
Yep.
and he invested all the money was his own money. His audience was literally doing what I just said, calling up theaters and demanding it, to the point where it got put into like 1,500 theaters off of just people calling up. So
It's
we're literally
crazy.
at that point where, like, even you're again an example of, like, you dropped a poster and people were like, we want this. So on Nina's part, I'm like, man, y'all need to just leak that
Yeah.
movie, or like,
Yeah. We gotta
drop the
talk to
trailer.
Nina, man. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Like, that's
yeah,
wild. Like, why are they? I mean, yeah, you could be right. Maybe investors are involved with it, in
Mhm.
which the studio is gonna like buy it, or whatever the case may be. But it's like, and she just may not know. You don't know what you don't
Yeah,
know at the
yeah,
end of the day.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like I feel like Country
Hmm.
Wayne, though, probably just knowing how entrepreneurial he is, I'm pretty sure there might be conversations about that, because I'm pretty sure he made a movie prior to this and just put it on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, it's just like, what are we doing, bro? Like, waiting on
Yeah,
the success of,
no,
that's how you miss the
no.
train, man.
Exactly, exactly. You got to be ahead of the curve. You don't wait on it. I mean, but
Yeah.
with all that in mind, it's like, do you have, like, what's your thoughts when it comes to, you know, moving forward? Like, do you think about working within the industry system? Do you think of, like, you know, or making stuff on your own and then selling it to the industry? Like, what's your views on what's your ideal relationship to the industry, or just like to your filmmaking?
Yeah, I think I have no like urgency to work with the industry in any capacity because I would want it to be like on my own terms, and that's not going to happen until my name and status is built up more. Kind of like what I told you, like Tyler Perry, where it's like, you know, I think
Yes.
his first movie in theater was Diary of a Mad Black Woman, but everyone already knew who Tyler was because of the play. So he said, you know, this is how it's gonna go, not y'all telling me this is
Yep.
how it's gonna go. No, I got
Yep.
the audience. This many people know me. I need you for distribution, and we can split the box office sales, or
Yep.
however he determines his deal at the end of the day. Do I want y'all's money back first for putting it in on all these theaters? Then we split, cool. But ultimately, this is how it's gonna go. I feel like for me, that's what I ultimately want. And until I get that, then it's a no. Because the thing is, like, I think filmmakers get used to that system. Going back to the whole Easter Ray thing of like, okay, the studio's paying me XYZ. I'm streaming on this big network. That's cool. But think about how much you're losing. You're taking off the table, and you put so much time into it, and they might be paying you something, but technically that's breadcrumbs to what you could be making at the end of the day. And why would you do that? Like that's my whole thing. Why would you do that? Why not just wait until, you know, you can put something real heavy in the game where it's like, yo, like, I know you're financing it, but guess what? I'm gonna put up 30% or whatever. Like, until you can do that. That's
It's
just
like,
the
now I'm a
mindset I'm
partner.
under. Yeah, I'm a partner. Like, y'all are not just gonna take my shit and run it up and give me like a day rate with no points or anything. If I'm not a big director like Steven Spielberg or whoever's getting paid 20 mil, Quentin Tarantino, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the creator of this shit. I don't need a day rate. I need equity. That's what I need at the end of the day. That's what I need. You can give me a day rate and equity, but I'm going to take some equity off this. That's why I didn't understand. And of course, you know, I'm not in like Coog's finances or anything, but damn it, if I'm worth 25 million and I got a film that I'm super passionate about, I'm putting up something. I'm putting up 5, I'm putting up 10, I'm putting up whatever the case is. If I feel this is the one, which I feel like Sinners is now Coog's best film he's ever created. Why not inject yourself more into it at the end of the day? Like, there's so many things that you can do to get creative to finance the deal. So that's just how I feel. Like, I don't want to work with a studio until I know, like, I'm like, all right, I'm glad y'all want it. I'm putting 5 million in it. And then
it's like, now I'm invested too. I got skin in the game. It's not just y'all. I feel like that's like my old manager would tell me about, like M. Night Shyamalan. Like, that's basically what he does, where he is the studio behind his movies, and then he just uses these actual studios as distributors. So he still owns everything. He's making the most money off of his movie. He's just, okay, Universal, y'all can get behind this project, but I put the money down. It's my thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because basically, I mean, I think he, like, before he did, I forget which movie it was, but like, I gotta pull it up just for myself. 1 second. There was like, I think a point in his career where he, I think he was like I think he had a movie flop, and then he was struggling to like get the next movie made or whatever. And so then it got to the point where he was like, I have to put up my house. Like, I think he put up his house to finance the movie. Yeah, literally. Wow. Put up his house to finance the movie. Huge gamble. And I think it was like a small, I think the budget, you know, it wasn't like a huge multi-million-dollar movie. Probably like in the 1 to 5 million, or like maybe like high hundreds of thousands. I don't know. But either way, he did that, and then the movie succeeded. It worked out. It blew up. He made his money back. And from there, that became the
Wow.
model of like, oh, okay, I will put up the money and I will recoup, in the end. And I think that's what I would be doing as a Ryan Coogler. Maybe he is doing that. I know
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
his company is like, always like involved in this project. But I remember like the more that I got into, like for me, crowdfunding that's what I rely on because I'm like, I don't have all the money in the world. But I have an audience that's growing and growing and growing. So y'all like my work. Okay. You want to see a highly produced version of the stuff that you like, invest in it.
Yeah.
I always say Ryan Coogler, imagine if Ryan Coogler was like, okay, guys, me and Michael B. Jordan are going to make a $10 million movie. Here's our Kickstarter. That's it would get funded. That could get funded. Or even if he was like, I'll just put up $10 million and make my own movie or 5 million or whatever, or it goes half and half with the studio. I'm like, there's so much that like someone like Ryan Coogler, like you can go get money in so many different ways that can actually
Yeah.
be more freeing. But I think and I feel like he's the kind of person where I feel like that's someone who he knows what he's doing. Already the fact that like he's able to even just get that deal on Sinners, which is controversial in the industry, but the fact that he was able to get it and has been building his own company. Like the more that he's getting bigger, his company's getting bigger. And so I think he's aware and knows when it comes to ownership. And he's in a very particular position where he's become so big in the studio system that he's playing on a whole different game than like the
Yeah.
average filmmaker. To
Yeah.
where, yeah, I'm curious to see what 10 years from now Ryan Coogler is doing when it comes to how his movies get financed, what ownership looks like for them and everything. Like, yeah, I think I'm like, that man's gonna be good.
No, he's gonna be good. He's already good, but now Sinners
Yeah.
has put him over that like
Mhm,
threshold of like, oh yeah, you're a celebrity director.
mhm.
What the heck are you making next? Yes, here's
Yeah.
a blank check. It don't even matter.
Mhm.
I'll see it when it comes out. Like
Yeah.
that's that's how it is now for him, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm with you. I'm like, I'm not going to the studio until I'm able to do my version of that. And obviously it'll take time, but like
Yeah.
we're able to start, like, again, we've been saying we're able to build our audiences. We have stuff that's already getting seen. So it's just, and we're at the beginning of our journeys. So it's like, all
The
right,
very
movie
beginning.
2, 3. Yeah. It's like we are very, very early. So I'm not concerned, but like, okay, well then knowing the approach that you're taking and like you know the relationship that you're having with the industry and just filmmaking in general, what is next for you and like what do you see like so Scary Hours, is that your production company?
Yeah. Scary Hours is our
Gotcha.
production company.
I love it,
Yeah.
love it, love it, love it, love it. So what do you see being next for you guys after Alabama Brawl and the direction y'all want to go in?
Man, so we have a few scripts that I'm looking at that are features that is more back into that lane of like social commentary horror.
Hmm.
There's a project called Can't Breathe that I'm looking at, and then there's a project that's more like about ICE that I'm looking at
Hmm.
as well. So those are two projects we're kind of looking at on the feature side. And
Hmm.
then the doc side, I'm kind of just like trying to see like what comes to me, like what I feel like
Hmm.
needs to be told that's kind of getting overlooked in the world. So
Hmm.
we're kind of just like going back and forth on
Hmm.
that one, like the idea that we want to like really bring to fruition.
Hmm.
And then it's just about like I feel like for us, it's just about more building the brand, like my director page, directed by Webba. Um,
Hmm.
just trying to figure that side out because then I know like because I feel like for me, all the projects, people know the projects, but they don't really know the name behind it.
Hmm.
And that's where I was like, okay, I kind of gotta get more out there so people know who I am, what the brand is, what we're doing. So that's like what's next for me, honestly. And then I think just continuing to look for people that have their head on straight and they see the vision, and just trying to find like-minded people, including like investors that we may come across. Like, I don't even care anymore like how much money they have. I just want your head on straight, where it's like, because I think that was the biggest thing about Lanier. Like, even though it succeeded, it kind of just put a sour taste in my mouth because you know, I just remember being so hyped about someone investing 50K, but then when this person tried to pull it out, I was like, man, that just makes me realize all money's not good money. And you know, you just got to be careful with like who you're working with at the end of the day, because she could have sunk the ship if I would have like folded and said, you know, I'm going to give you your money back. So just finding more like-minded people that understand like nothing's guaranteed, but when you look how analytical I am with the approach, like you understand this is a good opportunity. It's not a guarantee that I'm gonna make a return or whatever, but man, like we're gonna come close if we don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of just where I'm at. Like,
No, and that's important. That's very, 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 very important what you said of like making sure that the investors are aligned. Because I know earlier we were talking about creative collaborators, but that is just as important. Where it's like, okay, I'm taking money from a place that understands where this money is going to go, how it's being used, and trusts the way that we're going. Because if you have investors that aren't aligned, whether it's creatively or even on like the business side of things, whether it's like how you want to release it or whatever, because that's also how you can end up in a Yumi and Tuscany situation.
That's huge, man. That's
it's
huge.
Like,
I feel like that should be like more illustrated too, of like, okay, like this is, because that's what we did on our investor calls. At the end of the day, I always said like, okay, like large plan, like, yes, you know, in the perfect world, like if God says like, okay, this is what's going to happen, yes, we will go to a film festival. We will secure a deal, which is, I know, it's like the lottery, right?
Yep.
It's more than likely not going to happen, because even when you go to Sundance, well, all the films that you're competing against, they starting out the gate at like $5 billion, if not more, probably, and they have
a lot of them already have.
So, and that's what I was very transparent with our main investor from that first call. Like, this is plan A. We're gonna, depending on the quality, depending on how it comes out, we want to go to a festival. Because I originally was trying to raise a mill. So I kind of gave the different plans. Plan A, film festival, we can go here, here, and here. We might meet somebody that can secure us a deal. Plan B is the more appendant route of just like putting it on Amazon or whatever, and trying to get the money back. And I found out as soon as we like cut it and we got it colored, I was like, yeah, we're not going to no film fest with this. There's just no way. I was just so honest with myself. I was like, it, you know, it's like it's okay for my first film. I can be proud of it, but is it going to be like groundbreaking where it's like, no. And I didn't want to put up all that money for the festivals either, because at that point,
that's a budget too.
Yeah, that's a budget in itself as well. And I was like, nah, we're not going to just do that. We're just going to do it independently. I mean, it got a name for itself. Like you said, Super Nigga, that is the star. Lanier is the star. And that's honestly, that's what we did. Because I was like, there's just, I don't want to waste more money trying to get it out there when that can go into like marketing the actual film on a larger scale. So,
and going to the people that it's for, because it's like how back to what we were saying earlier of like the names of our projects are like names that the people that it's for, it resonates already. Like how you said as soon as you said Lanier, I knew what you were talking about. And I was like, I want to see a
Mm-hmm.
movie about that. You know? So it's like, why would I go to Sundance where the people that I'm targeting are probably not even there. The buyers that are looking for projects there probably don't even understand the audience that I'm trying to reach. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a waste of all of our time. You know, at the end of the day, it's like I feel like a lot of festivals, like I think now I like the idea of festivals more for like the communal aspect of like meeting other filmmakers and this and that. Not so much for the oh, this is gonna make me a star type thing or whatever. Or like, you know, I'm trying to make a sale. Because I think of, you know, like what we're about, where it's like I'm going to find my audience. I'm going to market this. I'm going to do all blah, 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 blah. And it would be dope for a distributor to come on board and like get behind this. But either way, I'm going to be doing that. So if I'm going to a festival, it's more for like, I'm just trying to connect with other filmmakers or discover new shit and like meet cool people. And hopefully something comes out of that. But, you know, like how you're saying, it is the lottery when you're going to hope that we get distribution, hoping that we do this and that. You know, you seem like a very I did my
Mm-hmm.
homework type person. Like how you said,
Yes.
I'm coming in with the analytics and this and that. I'm ready. I could talk to you about why we should do this and that. And I think that's what filmmakers need to understand. It's not just the creative, you know.
No, man, it's more creation and marketing. Like that's why I tell filmmakers, if you don't, I mean, yes, granted, if you can get your friends together and make something for 500, okay, cool. Like you don't really need to think too deep.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you're just trying to get your reps in, but if you're trying to like make a business out of it, that's where I would say no.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be very intentional about what you're doing. Um, like you just have to be, because you won't be able to really get an investor unless you can show them why your business model is going to make them a return at the end of the day. So that's what I always tell filmmakers. Again, like, yes, it is show business, but do not forget that second word, business. Because I
And
know
that's the
so
bigger
many
word.
filmmakers, bro, they put so much money into the shit and they like, I ain't got nothing to market with. And I'm like, bro, like, no, like you have to have something to market with at the end of the day. Now, Lanier, it was rare. So the whole premise of how we got the budget back was like, okay, I think we made like 10K on Amazon at that point. And I told the investors, y'all, I don't think we're gonna get to where we want to get, like, if we don't reinvest this money. And I didn't really have nothing to give at that point because we put so much into it. So I told them, like, yo, we got to reinvest like the money. If y'all want to see a return, if we want to come close to it, we got to reinvest in some capacity. I don't care. We have to. And I was really scared about the main investor who tried to pull out her money and why she would reject that. But then my guy, who's like now my main investor, who I talk to about everything, he's just like, fuck that. Like, we're gonna do it anyway. Like, no matter what, we're gonna do it, because he gets it. Filmmaking is not like, this is like a tax write-off for him. I'll just say that. Like, he has other avenues of revenue. So he's just like, fuck it. Like, marketing is everything. Like, I get it. You don't have to sell me on it. Just use the money. So we had the call, and luckily this investor like always liked to talk to him, because she was like, she needs that reassurance from him. And he told her just straight up, like, yes, like, this is a great idea. Like, we have to do it. And we reinvested like that 10K. And honestly, just from that, we got our budget back. So
that's crazy.
We got our whole entire budget back, and it put it in a different stratosphere of just like, because then it started trending on Prom, and then people that don't even know what Lanier is started watching it. I think Lanier is probably in like 10 countries or something like that. That's what really, but listen to what I said. It was reinvesting. It was marketing the film and just saying like, okay, like, yes, after all this time, it's good to make like 10K for my film. But I was like, is that all I came here for? Is that why I'm leaving here with something, but it ain't going to just be 10K. At the end of the day, it just ain't going to be that. I'm going to go down trying to get more, because it's like, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, like I was so happy about it, and then I was just like,
Mhm.
damn, like, because we kind of were like, man, like we already hit our power circle. The Facebook where we went viral already knows it's
Mhm.
out. Our followers know it's out on Instagram. I was like, man, what are we gonna do? Like, how are we gonna get it
Mhm.
more out there? And I think that's
Mhm.
where the blogs like really opened for me. And I was like, oh, like look at all these people talking about Lanier.
Mhm.
They know what Lanier is. They just don't know a film is
Mhm.
out
Mhm.
about it.
Yep.
So
There's
yeah,
already a community there.
right.
No,
There's already a community.
that's so dope. That is so dope. Yeah, you literally did not. I mean, just resilience. It's like, all right, because a lot of people could have just been like, all right, well, we tried and it didn't work, and that's it. And okay, let's
Yeah,
bow out. But like the
yeah,
fact that you were like, all right, let's go again.
yeah. I was like, nah, we got to go again,
Abandon,
man. Drop it
double
again,
up.
like double up, man. Because the thing is, too, it was like we wanted to raise money, kind of like
Mm.
what you're
Yeah.
doing now
Yeah.
with the Malcolm X flick. But then the main investor who gave us the 50, she was like, well, I don't want to come off as begging, and I was like, well,
Mm.
are you going to put in more money
Hmm.
or?
Yep.
So as far as I'm concerned, we begging because
Yep.
I want
Ain't got
we
no other choice.
what are we gonna do? So
Mhm.
so she was very gun hold on like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want to beg about it. And what did she do now that she saw the success of Lanier? She tried to make another movie and she tried to
Mhm.
crowdfund it. And I was like,
Mm.
uh-huh. You see how that works?
Now you on beg.
Like,
Yeah. Now people have to see. That's, again, like how you said, people have to. You either get the vision or you don't. You either
yeah.
understand or you don't. And I mean, well, like, because this is a question that I feel like I get a lot of is like, people always ask me like, how do you find investors? How did you get investors? And for me, I'm like, it's kind of hard for me to respond because I feel like not that they just come, but I think for me, my approach is very much like I just put my projects out there and I just like I have an idea and I want to and I'm working on it. I start talking about it on the internet from before I had an audience to now that I have an audience. And that's how I've always been. It's just like I want to go do this. I'm gonna go talk about it to every single person that I know everywhere that I go to the point where it's like everyone around me knows about the project and knows that I'm looking for money. And everyone that is seeing me on the internet knows that I'm looking for money. So it's almost like I just try to attract investors. And I think now
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting to a point of like, okay, as people have been starting to, come around the stuff that I'm doing, I'm starting to build relationships with people. It's like, okay, I can now when I have a project, I can go to this person or I can ask this person. But I think before that, the only like investor type people that I could ever think of was like, okay, I know like this one friend that I went to college with who has like a rich parent. Let me ask them if
Yeah,
their parent
yeah,
might want to invest. But other than that,
yeah.
I didn't know. But for you, what's been your journey, if you can go into it in any ways of like finding investors or, dealing with investors?
Yeah. I mean, really our biggest investor came from investing in ourselves, which is crazy because
Mm-hmm.
when we made
Mm-hmm.
Lanier, we had to make a sizzle. The sizzle was dog water. It was so bad,
Mm-hmm.
but we made it. We got it done, and
Yeah.
then I literally just said, okay, I want this to go on a blog called Georgia Followers. So I talked to
Mm-hmm.
him. We got it up on there. Once it went on Georgia Followers, it was going crazy. A lot of comments were dogging us, rightfully so, because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this is our first like trailer that we've ever done.
Yeah.
But from that, conceptually, uh, this person saw the vision, and we were able to hop on a call, and then that's when I closed her to get 50K.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first experience with an investor. But one thing that I did too, even with
So
that
similar, where
investor,
it's like attracting them. Yeah.
yeah, I just attracted them. And now that I know that, kind of like similar to you, I now have at least two people I can go to say, like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is why it's going to succeed. I don't even have to say anything because
Mm-hmm.
they really know the approach, why it's going to work just off the
Mm-hmm.
title. Right. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of my experience. And I never
Mm-hmm.
crowdfunded. But I think it's cool that you're doing that as well. But I think
Yeah.
that's good too, because you can use that as collateral as to why somebody should invest.
I mean, that's the way that I look at it now, where I'm like, because I remember like when the Kickstarter for Malcolm X Boulevard, when that when it ended, when it reached its final date, and like we hit our goal on there, I remember I was like, all right, I never want to do another Kickstarter. I never want to crowdfund ever again, because that was work, and that was like my third time doing a crowdfunding for a film, and I think fifth crowdfunding project in general. But that's definitely like the most that I had ever tried to raise. And we dealt with a similar thing like you mentioned earlier, of like everyone saying they're going to give you all this money. We raised at first we had 50,000 raised on Kickstarter, and then we had like I think 150,000 committed from other people being like, "Oh, I'll give you this much, I'll give you this much, this much." Everyone fell through in the end. And so it's been like a series of like, yeah, like there was one investor who got sick and like had like a real serious like health situation. So they were like, I have to use that money for this. But then now they're coming back around where like, okay, they're gonna be done with all their treatments and stuff. And they're like, okay, once all this is done, I'm aiming to get that money back to you like by the middle of the year. So before we go into production, that money will come back. So that's dope. But I remember like at the time when the Kickstarter ended, I was like, oh shit, we got all the money. We don't need to do anything else. I'm never ever crowdfunding again, because that was hell and stressful and whatnot. But then time passed, and I got brought into this advisory committee on Kickstarter called the Kickstarter Community Advisor Council. And it's just but like me and like maybe 20 other 20 other creators who've been like crowdfunding, and all these people have been doing it way longer than me for and have been raising way more than I have, like and these people, like I've been learning so much from seeing their stories, and it goes through different fields, from like film to video games to books and tech and whatever. And so you have all these people who've been raising money for all these years, and some of these people do like multiple Kickstarters a year. Some of them even do multiple a month, and they're raising like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like it's like we're in like a Slack group now, and like someone will like just post their Kickstarter, like, hey guys, our Kickstarter just went live for our new like game or like comic book or whatever. Support it if you can. I'll click on the link, and it'll be like the goal was like $50,000. They're already at like $300,000 in a day or whatever. And and I remember I was like, what? Like this is a thing? And like they're all like, yeah, this is our business model, where like we actually professionally run like crowdfunding campaigns for our business, for our products and this and that. What? Our community loves it and supports it. There was one woman in the first call who was calling in from South America, and she was calling in from like her office, her company's office, which was like it was like a 3-story like office, all like glass windows, and like there was all this greenery and beautiful stuff. She was like, there's an open floor for like just people who want to come in and do like co-working and whatever. But like she was like, this whole office was funded through Kickstarter. Like, and the people at Kickstarter were like, oh, we're trying to build a map of like all the physical locations that have been funded through Kickstarters. And I was just like, so you mean to tell me this is like a thing that people are doing? And now I know friends who have been doing this, where like I got one friend who has his own comic book company, and like, yeah, he does like I think like 2 campaigns a month, and they're raising like 60,000 for each campaign. And I'm just like, whoa, okay, so this is possible. And so that made me start looking at Kickstarter a little differently, where I was like, I might actually crowdfund for every project that I do. But there's also a way of looking at it where it's like, I don't necessarily have to crowdfund for the entire project. I could crowdfund for the development costs. I could crowdfund for like specific elements, like whether it's like, oh, we need this location, we're just doing a
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarter or like a GoFundMe or whatever for we need 10,000 for this aspect. And the beauty of it is like you get the money, but also this is now marketing where like as you're crowdfunding, you're promoting it, you're spreading the word, and so people are discovering the project, and now they're telling their friends about it, and they're putting their money in. And like how you're saying, it is
Mm-hmm.
leverage to then when you go to investors, you're like, well, we raised this much off of like this community of people, and like we have all this traction. Because with Malcolm X Boulevard, that is the thing. Like a lot of it is like, oh yeah, like the project has been going viral. We raised 50,000 at first. Now it's been going up. We're at 61,000, and now we're
Mm-hmm.
making content. And so it's easier for an investor to be like, oh, people want this. Okay, yeah, I'll get involved. And oh, you've also like what we were saying about like Ryan Coogler going to a studio. We now have some initial input into the movie where it's like, okay, we already have 60,000 we're putting down. You want to give us the other half, or you want to give us whatever, like the another third of the budget. So it
Mm-hmm.
is a way. I look at it as a way of like, okay, we're getting ourselves, we're getting the ball rolling, with
Yes.
financing and building a community. So that's for me where I'm like, I think there is an element of it that can be dope for people, and also a way where it's like it doesn't look like you're begging, especially where it's like,
Right.
okay, you're raising for a certain portion, even if it's a small amount, even if it's like we're just raising $5,000 to pay for legal
Yes.
costs or whatever. So,
Yes.
but it's a way to just get the audience involved and to start spreading the word and talking about a project without waiting for all right when it's done. But that's the thing is like everyone finds their way, even just like how you said, like, just dropping the poster, or like for some people it's like doing a teaser, or but either way, it's like whatever you can do to start building up
Mm-hmm.
your leverage and building your awareness is the way for me. And I think for me, it's like crowdfunding was just what I found that works and what I like. So
I love that, man.
yeah,
That gave me a new
thank you.
perspective on crowdfunding. Like it really did.
Yeah.
Because when she said that, that kind of like tainted my vision with crowdfunding. I'm
Mhm.
like, ugh, like, so I shouldn't crowdfund, but I mean, it's a
Yeah.
powerful tool at the end of the day. You got a
Yeah.
conceptual that resonates with people, and they're like, yeah, that's a good
Hmm.
idea. Yes, they're gonna get
Hmm.
behind it, especially if they get a
Hmm.
perk in exchange, like how you can do like Indiegogo
Exactly.
t-shirt. I'll
Yep.
give you a sticker pack, whatever, like
Hmm.
VIP, red carpet. In fact, there's a YouTuber that does a movie reviews called Chris Stuckman, and he did a Kickstarter about a film called Shelby Oaks that now Neon has got involved with, and they're putting it in theaters.
Mm.
But before they did that, he was crowdfunding, and he
Hmm.
raised like I think like a mil. He might have came close
Yeah.
to two
Sheesh.
just from his audience. So that's
Yeah.
what I mean. He would have never got the attention of Hollywood without raising money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm just like, just start the conversation. Because what inspired me to even do a Kickstarter for Malcolm X was like, I remember we were talking to investors, or like I had some other producers who were like, okay, we're gonna try to talk to investors and go a traditional route. And it was just taking forever and nothing was happening. And then I was like, okay, I know from my experience, like with Super Nigga, that was crowdfunding. With everything that I did before was either crowdfunding or even like with my music, it's like some of my songs I would just make like some of my songs just started out as like snippets or like just sounds that I was making for TikTok videos. I was like, oh, I want to use this as like a background sound or as like a lip sync thing. And then I would post it and people would be like, oh, where's the rest of the song? I want the full thing. And it would go viral. And then I'd be like, okay, let me turn that into a full thing. But it was just, again, like how with posting the trailer, like you're building a demand. And in some cases, it was like, I didn't even know I was building demand. I was just putting an idea out there that I wasn't even thinking was going to be more than just that snippet. Then you see
Right,
people want the full thing. And same with
right.
Malcolm X. Like I remember when there was no traction with investors, I told the producers, all right, well, I'm gonna go talk about it on TikTok. And I just made a TikTok where I was just sharing the idea of the movie and saying, like, I want to make this. I'm trying
Right.
to figure out how. And that video ended up like going viral. And all the comments were just like, where's the Kickstarter? Where's the Kickstarter? Where's the GoFundMe? And then I was like, oh, okay. All right, let's post that. And so
Let's do
then we
it.
literally did it. So it's like there's no one way of making a project. There's no one way of attracting investors or an audience. But I think like what you've done, what I'm doing, it's really just like put it out there in some way. Put the project on people's radar. Let people know what you're doing, what you need, or really just be vocal.
Yeah, be
And that's
vocal.
it.
That's all you can do. I mean, at the end of the day, like the chips are gonna fall where they may. Bro, I feel
Yes.
that. I feel that.
Yes, yes. No, this is beautiful. I am gonna have to wrap up. I gotta run.
Yeah.
But dude, no, this is sick. This is really dope. One thing that I want to start encouraging people to do on when we finish the at the end of each episode, I kind of because all right, I basically cut all. I'm kind of cutting all streaming service ties and anything. Like I don't have Netflix. I don't have anything. Only thing that I do is even like music. I've been using a. I'll show you. I got a my girlfriend gave
Oh
me like a
my.
Walkman that she had.
Oh
Just
my
like sitting
gosh.
around. And I was like, because I remember at first, like it started with like I was like going through Netflix, and for years I've been like, I don't like opening Netflix. I feel like it gives me a headache. I don't watch everything on here. I probably watch like two things. I used to love HBO Max because I was like, that felt like the more curated streaming service where it's like it's HBO. You know what kind of stuff you're getting from HBO. You know you're gonna get high quality, very
Right.
specific, like graphic shit and whatever. But with everything else, it was like this is I don't I don't use this. I spend more time scrolling than actually watching things. So I canceled everything, and I was like, all I'm gonna use is YouTube and Tubi because those are free. And if there's anything specifically that I can't find on there that I really want to watch, I'm either gonna rent it, I'm gonna buy it, or I'm gonna pirate it. But I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go. I was like, I'm gonna go specifically to what I actually want and what I need. And then that's where like the music thing even came up, where I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't listen to everything on these streaming apps either. I just want to have CDs or like just buy things. And she had a cassette player, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I feel like in general, I'm usually listening to like one or two albums consistently at a time. So I'm just gonna start buying cassettes,
I love
and
that.
I'll use YouTube for anything else. And through that, I've been discovering really cool projects. I mean, I remember the other day I was watching. Sorry, I'm going on a whole tangent, but like
No, you're
I've just
good.
been discovering like new films and new filmmakers, and seeing like whether it's old stuff or new things that are being made, like Alabama Brawl. There's this other filmmaker named Pete O's, like this white dude who just like makes movies regularly for like how the black Tubi filmmakers that are known do, where it's like I'm just making movies for like $10,000 to $50,000 and actually making profits and actually just like making creative stuff or whatever. And so it's been dope just discovering all these people who are just making shit and putting shit out there. But basically what I'm getting to is, are there any projects that you are that you've discovered, whether it's like a movie on Tubi or on YouTube or whatever, just are there any dope independent projects that you've stumbled upon?
Yeah, I would say most recently was Backrooms because that
Mm.
started off
Oh,
as like a featured
YouTube.
film, not a
Mm-hmm.
featured film, but like a short film series before it became this
Mm-hmm.
thing that A24 adopted. I found Lights Out before it became a featured film from YouTube, and I used to follow the director Adam Sandberg very closely. So there's a lot that I discovered, like Chris
Mm-hmm.
Stuckman. I just talked about him.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of short films up until that point. I used to always watch Film Riot. Film Riot was
Mm-hmm.
another one that I loved.
Yes, that's what got me.
Film
I
Riot.
learned a lot from Film Riot.
Yeah, Film Riot was like, and I mean, it still is. It's still going strong. So,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, stuff like that. So I definitely know. Like, I graduated from YouTube University.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, my whole career started from YouTube in a lot of ways. Like 2016, watching like Casey Neistat,
Mm-hmm.
um, and learning about filmmaking and vlogging. That's where it started, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Breaking Bad influenced me to get into script writing, but like the filmmaking side, oh, most definitely came from YouTube. Like how to actually direct cinematography, like that whole thing definitely came from YouTube. So you're a filmmaker. If you're a filmmaker, you got to be on YouTube. Like you have to be on YouTube, bro. Like there's just so much of experiences you can hear from. It's just a fountain of like knowledge at the end of the day. You ain't gonna learn anything really from like having Netflix and HBO Max, and you know what I'm saying, unless you just want to study a film for a particular film that maybe you're doing that feels like that in some ways, and you want to see how they did certain things for your world. But when we're talking about like technicalities, you need to be on YouTube, because you're going to learn from the experiences of people who funded their films, who raised money for their films, and just breaking down basic cinematography, or even advanced in some cases. So, bro, YouTube University, like, for real.
It's free. It's free.
It's free. It's free, bro.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's free. So, yeah, man. Bro, thank you for having me, by the way. What a great combo.
Thank you. Thank you. Seriously. And keep in touch. Seriously. However I can support in any way, collab, whatever. I'm very much down. Yeah, well, I'll get your like email and stuff too. And I mean, I have the email, but no, definitely like keep in touch. Keep in touch. And are you based in Georgia, in Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm based in Georgia. Yeah, I'm coming up to New York in like May at some point.
Hit me up.
I'll hit you up, man. We'll have to chop it up together. Yeah, I'll be there with my niece is graduating to high school, so we kind of want to take her on like a trip, because she loves New York. It's her favorite place to go. And I'm opposite, because I'm more of an introvert, and I'm just like, oh, so crowded. But man. Yeah.
No, keep me posted. And like, if there's literally ever anything I can do. For me, it's like I love, one thing I love doing up here especially is like screenings and stuff, and like just curating like Q&A. So if there's ever anything we can do with your film or whatever, just let me know. I'm always down to support.
Okay, let's get it, bro. Let's do it. I'm down.
Sounds good. All right, man. And I mean it. I mean it. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you soon, man. And I'll let you know when this is going up. Thank you.
All right, man. I'll send you my number too through DM, so we can you just do that too.
Sounds good. Perfect. All right, man.
All right, man.
Peace.
All right, peace.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of the Fuck Hollywood podcast. Like I said, stay tuned. We drop every week. Next Monday, we will have another episode on the Patreon for anyone with early access, and everybody else who wants to wait, you'll get it next Friday. And also, we will have our first virtual writing workshop on our Patreon this Sunday. I'll be leading it, so tune in. I'll be sharing some information and updates about A Nightmare on Malcolm X Boulevard. So if you don't want to miss out, come join the Patreon. It's free for anybody on the Patreon. You don't have to be a paid subscriber to get into the virtual workshop. But to get early access to the podcast, you got to be a paid subscriber. All right, it's only $5 a month. Support the studio, support FHP, because Hollywood ain't supporting us, but you support us so we can support y'all, and we can keep giving y'all all this free information and connecting y'all to our network, because that's what we want to do. We want to build a community, and we want to build a network, a beautiful, supportive network for indie filmmakers worldwide, and eventually beyond filmmakers, because independence is not just about cinema, okay? Independence is the way. Oh, and follow us on social media. Follow us at FHP Fuck Hollywood Productions on Instagram. Follow Director Daddy. Follow Directed by Weber. That is William Eric Anderson's Instagram. And follow ANOMXB Film. That's A Nightmare on Malcolm X Boulevard. That's my film. You can go learn more about it. You can go check out our Kickstarter if you want to send in a late donation, because we're still taking late donations. We go into production in September. It's an independent production, and every little counts. So whatever you can put in. All right? You can help us with financing production, or if we keep getting more, we can finance our post-production and our plans for after post-production. post-production, like marketing and distribution and all that stuff. So yeah, tune in. And I've also been very active on Twitter now. The Twitter algorithm is liking me. I know Twitter's a crazy place and it's owned by white supremacists, but I am spreading black supremacy and just valuable information for creatives on there. So follow me over there, Director Daddy. That's me on all platforms. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. 2 Y's on Twitter. But yeah. Alright, that's all. Tune in next week. Peace!